Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another Reel Debaters production. I am your host, Micheal Petrow. On the show this week, it's all about reality television in the living room, the virtual living room still. We're almost together. We're still apart. We're still fucking close. Anyways, in the virtual living room this week, Martin Navarro, Rob Strachan, Mark Cowell, and myself are talking reality television. This whole entire episode dedicated to Martin Navarro. It's from his brain. It is his brainchild. He thought, well, we're allowed to do TV. Let's take it to reality television. So one of the oldest running reality television series on TV is Survivor. So this week's debate is inspired by Jeff Probst and all things Tropical Island. So what Martin did was, why not make a theme Survivor? It's always usually the same thing, surviving the elements, right? Why not take a movie or a TV show theme and put it on top of the show? And make it fun, right? All the rules apply, all of the challenges, the idols, everything is still the same. It's just now themed, right? So what movie or TV show are you going to pick? Why is it going to be awesome? What are things that inspired you to make this version of the show? Is it harder? Is it easier? What changes are you making? All those things were talked about. So if you're a fan of reality television, this one's for you. If you want to follow the show, if you want to stay in touch with us, at Reel Debaters, that's all over social media, REEL. If you want to talk to us and send us an email, an idea, you want to do a shout out, whatnot, you just want to tell us we're fucking buffoons, we'll listen at thereeldebaters@gmail.com and thereeldebaters.ca. That's the website. That's the merch stand. That's the guest bios. That's the blog. That's the podcast. That's the Patreon tab. If you're feeling charitable and you'd like to donate to the production of this show, we ensure that it will go right back into making this better for you, the listener. We've kind of made it a little interactive, so if you want to take part, hit that Patreon tab. Besides that, shout outs. Yeah, I said I'd stay on this, so let's keep with continuity, shall we? Our friends south of the border putting up big numbers. Ashburn, San Jose, Southington, Cedar Grove, and Boardman. Those are the top 5 American places that are listening to the show. We thank you very much. We thank everybody, but I figured why not? If you're gonna put up some big numbers and show some support and love, let's pay attention to you. Winnipeg, our hometown, Nanaimo, BC, Niverville, Manitoba, an unknown place in Manitoba, and Oakbank, Manitoba, all in the top 5. Thank you. We knew Niverville was there. Thanks for sticking around. But Oakbank, welcome to the party. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the dance. We appreciate it. Anyways, I don't think I've got anything else. Enjoy the first debate of the year. We got lots more coming. I'm going to try some solo shit, see how that works. You guys can let me know in the comments if you want to listen just to me or if it's a collective vibe you like. That's the nicest way to say it. Anyways, I got nothing else. Talk you the real, and you enjoy the show.
Let's tidy up this tangle of film by putting it on a reel. Here is a motion picture film, 1,000 feet, 16,000 separate photographs.
Welcome everybody to the official debate section of the chart.
What's the truth? You can't handle the truth.
Sir, you're out of order.
Out of order. I show you out of order.
I'll go first. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's 2021 and we are fucking back. I have been waiting 3 weeks to sit down with you guys, and this feels so fucking good. So without further ado, let's just kick into the new year properly without me meandering for 20 minutes about absolutely nothing. I want to talk about what we watched because I feel that with COVID on top of holidays and everything stopping us from seeing each other, the only thing to do is to either argue with your partner or watch fun shit. And I know we all have really great people in our lives. Martin's my partner by default before Shauna anyway. So with that
hetero
said,
life mate.
Hetero life. Yes,
hetero
that's
life.
correct.
There it is.
That
Totally.
the
Yeah. He's my
term.
hetero life mate. I'm Kevin. He's Jay. I got it.
I can tuck my penis into the back.
Please do. Right now. Stop the show. Get up. Do it. Do it. Let me see the cock.
TMI.
Let me see you, Peter. So,
Stand up, please.
It's too early to peter out.
there it is. I love the crotch shot because as soon as like that dude from CNN who got fired, Jeffrey Toobin, I think, and a guy with a last name like Toobin, I feel that you're the kind of guy who shows his dick. That's just a personal thought, whatever. But
Like Anthony Weiner?
Yeah, there you go. Like, how does a guy like Anthony Weiner not realize that he's destined to fuck up with his dick somewhere along the way? Like,
Or like, don't send dick pics like to
don't,
random people.
Don't send dick pics on
If you're an
government
elected
issued phones.
official.
Yeah, totally. Just don't do that. Anyway, so
What if you have a really pretty dick and you want to share it with the world?
well, ask first.
Then don't be an elected official.
Sorry, it's on Mark. Almost had a spit take. Almost had one spit take.
I really want to find out what.
Just pretty dick is very. It's a funny sentence.
Isn't pretty dick code for small dick?
No, pretty dick is a pretty dick.
What's a pretty dick?
That's fine.
Okay, this is a rabbit hole. We're gonna come back to this. Anyways, I got into a fuck ton of good shit over the holidays, and I've made it a promise to myself I will watch more animation this year, and I will watch more kooky, random, weird shit that Shauna likes that I have a tendency to watch, but like half watch. Watch while I'm editing, watch while I'm chatting on guide chats, but not really fully invest myself in. But the two things that really made me happy were the first and second season of Castle Rock. I went back to them. And if you're a Stephen King fan, we've talked about this before. I know I've talked about this with Mark and even Martin, I think. But the first time around, it's almost like you kind of have to watch a couple episodes and anchor it and then come back to it and then do it again, because it's like it's the equivalent of Family Guy, like Family Guy's zingers, how funny they are and how fast they come. That's how fast the Stephen King lore comes at you in the show. So the first season has to do with Shawshank, Needful Things, and a little bit of Cujo in there, like and it's all inspiration, right? But the second season is all about how Misery basically happened. It's a prequel to the movie Misery, and it's 10 episodes about the character. It's her, it's Annie, 100%, and Annie's daughter, and they come to Castle Rock because everything bad happens in Castle Rock. It's like a fucking we know from
Where do you stream that, Mike?
Crave all day. I think it's a Crave production too. I've never bothered to investigate it, but I'm pretty sure it's filmed in Canada as well. Anyways, if you're a Stephen King fan, first and foremost, it's for you. 100%. Like even some of the shots move around. Like there's a sequence between four people. I swear it's a carbon copy out of Stand By Me and It. Just the way the camera moves, you know it, right? So these guys are Stephen King fans. He's an exec producer on it, King himself. So, he's watching over his baby instead of letting things like The Shining happen where, it completely goes in a different creative direction and you're Stanley Kubrick going, what, you don't like my room 237 shit?
It's guaranteed to have a shitty ending.
Yeah, exactly, right? Totally not in line with anything the guy planned on one day maybe being made into a movie. And second to this, watch Soul. Sit down and give yourself some time and watch Soul. I've never been a big Pixar guy. Like Finding Nemo and the early iterations of Pixar I was in because I was like, what is this animation that these people are making? But I listened to Fat Man
Wait
Beyond.
till you have a kid.
Oh God, I can't even. Yeah, well, I have 3 cats. I'm done with kids.
Okay.
But like,
okay.
Soul is beautiful. It's amazing storytelling. The animation is fantastic. I caught a rumor that it was actually the movie was supposed to be about an animator, and then they switched it to a jazz musician. It's such a great idea that they switched it, and I'm really happy that Disney, like to talk about just cultural appropriation appropriately. This isn't my line. I heard this from Fat Man Beyond, but it really, it's a black character, it's a black family, it's a black story. But Disney did a great job of creating this world where you didn't instinctively go, you're just checking a box. Like they really sincerely have a great story behind it, and using somebody who's not white for once is so great to see. You'll tear up at the end of it. It's got a big, huge fucking twist on it. And Tina Fey as an annoying little like preteen soul, fan-fucking-tastic.
22.
So 22, exactly. So you've seen Soul too, Rob?
Yeah.
It sort of reminded me of like Inside Out from the commercials and stuff that I saw.
Yeah.
It's a bit
Inside
like
Out
that.
wasn't. Sorry, go on.
Oh no, I was gonna say it's similar to that lines. I think for me, I watched both of them and I love both of them, and I like how Pixar's tackling what makes people tick.
Yes.
But in different ways.
Yes.
Inside Out does that as well, and Soul does that, and that's what I liked about both of them. And they're tackling these issues for young children because this is who it's meant to be viewed for, right?
It's totally Martin, because their Soul is about life and death and about using your time wisely and not regretting things. So like
Being present.
Exactly, Rob. Exactly. It's about being
You're
present.
going to when you're watching shows with Shauna.
Yes, exactly. Both of us are present watching the show. So they've stepped outside of their Toy Story world now. They're getting back to original storytelling with fantastic animation. The great beyond and the great before and what happens after you die. these squiggly little animated angels. There's 3 of them.
The Jerrys.
The Jerrys and the Terry. Oh my god.
And I love how they all have Kiwi accents.
Yes.
It's awesome.
Terry's the soul counter, Mark. Every time a soul comes into heaven, he throws it, but he's counting with an abacus. So, anyways, that's my 2 cents from over the holidays for the break. Rob, what'd you watch?
It's funny that you said Soul because that was on my list too. I mean, I've got a 19-month at home, and she loves Pixar, and she's really liked the Soul. And I think I've watched it 3 times since they released it, and it's only been out for like 10 days. I felt like you were just dissing Toy Story a little bit there, and I literally watched Toy Story 3 this morning, and dude, those Toy Story movies, I've seen them a lot in the last 6 months. They hold up. They are solid. They are unbelievable storytelling. And I actually find myself, I'm more into them sometimes than my daughter. And that just speaks volumes.
Dude,
I love the one with the green army men because it just reminds me so much of when I used to play with them.
Totally. Another one I wanted to mention was Wonder Woman 84. I just got to mention it. I mean,
it's the elephant in the room.
I always go into every Disney movie with the lowest expectations because they disappoint me so fucking much. Unless it's a Christopher Nolan Batman movie, I'm going in there going, this is probably going to suck, but I'm going to watch it anyway. And it was okay. And like right after I watched it, I was kind of like, oh, okay, that was pretty good. But then I like digested it for a day. And I typed this on our chat. And I basically said, you know what? I want to retract my statement of pretty good to not bad. It was all right. It definitely still had like that feel that the first Wonder Woman had. I just felt like there was just too many holes in the story. And that's one reason why I don't love DC like I like Marvel, is everything's always mystical. Like it's always mystical, magical kind of, whereas, Marvel has that too, but it's like they tie this like mythology into science and tech, and like it all like intertwines, and I don't know, I just like that feel better, and I think that's why I've just always had a bigger affinity to the MCU.
I think you nailed it right there, Rob, is that Marvel there's the magical realm, and then there's the mythology, and then there's the super advanced tech like Wakanda and Iron Man, and everything gets like, and then standards like people that became superheroes because of gamma rays and, radiation, and they have all these different ways of having superpowers instead of, DC doesn't do that as well, for sure.
No, they don't. And I mean, maybe it's because like MCU's kind of like rocking like Ancient Aliens kind of perspective,
Do they have a guy with that fucking haircut?
I think having a backbone grounded in Norse mythology really helps them. Huge, because it's like it's not as mainstream as Greek and Roman mythology, right? But people know enough about it, but there's still an allure about it, and it's kind of like off the beaten path with the mythology, right? Even though people don't realize how much it actually influences us today.
It's not too hard.
Like most people don't know like Thursday's called Thursdays because it's Thor's Day, right? Or there's the god Freya, and that's why it's called Friday. Right? But whatever. I mean, I digress.
And people go down rabbit holes when they you search out like something that you saw like Asgard or Midgard or something, and it's rooted in like ancient worldly mythology. It's not just created by Marvel.
Yeah, exactly. Another show that I watch, and I hate to say it, but I watched it with Michelle. It's called Bridgerton.
I tried to watch that,
and it's kind of like Gossip Girl, but like in 1820 England.
Yeah.
And I found myself like ridiculously into it for like a day. And I'm kind of ashamed, but it was kind of a guilty pleasure. And I mean, it's the #1 show in the world on Netflix right now. So they must be doing something right.
Yeah. That was because I was watching last night, and I was trying to find something to kill time before, which I was, Shauna was like Bridgerton, and I was like The History of Swear Words with Nick Cage, Meet in the Middle, maybe. And so we watched fucking shit, which were great. Just a little note, somebody else watched those. Have any of you guys caught them yet? The History of Swear Words with Nick Cage?
Oh, it's amazing.
It's amazing.
I watched Fuck.
You watched Fuck? Okay, so you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Martin, get on board with this, because it's Nick Cage just being like, they were like, just be you. Just be you,
Nice.
and we'll bring on a panel of experts to talk about the history of swearing, but you just be you. So whenever the camera's on you, talk like you, act like you, pull from all your movies. He actually at one point, and I believe this is in, Mark can confirm this, I think it's in Fuck, where he's like, we wanted to find out how many times fuck has been said in swearing. So we brought in a randomly assigned actor, and then it's his bio card that comes on screen. And I'm like,
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
that's essentially
It's
Nick fucking
Cage being more Nick Cage than Nick Cage is.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
It extracted the essence of Nick Cage and concentrated it
Yep.
without
Boiled
all
it
the
down.
It's like the Four Loko version of Nick Cage.
Exactly.
It's like
if you bought that in the store and added it to like 4 parts water to get Nick Cage. That's
Totally.
It's like a
That's
Nick Cage
good
tincture.
analogy. But the first 4 episodes are basically fuck, shit, bitch, and dick. That's as far as I've seen.
Yeah, I got through shit, which I liked finding out that like shit kind of had to do with store high in transit, which is the history of shipping manure across the world, and because it had to be stored higher because of methane buildup, shit was the logo that was put on the boxes of manure as they shipped, so that the shippers would know that these had to be stored higher in the bulk of the ship than lower, and they would build up methane on it. So there's some of that historical shit there. But okay, so you've seen Wonder Woman. Raise your hand. Anybody else seen Wonder Woman? Okay, all right. So we got one Wonder Woman here. I have 3,000 credits on my Cineplex card, or my scene points, I should say. So I have a free shot. I've had a free shot at Wonder Woman since it came out. Ask me if I've used those 3,000 credits. Anybody? Somebody?
I'm guessing no.
No, fuck no. I trust Rotten Tomatoes a lot more now that I've been using them. Shout out Rotten Tomatoes for all of your knowledge and critiquing awesomeness. But like, I really, and I don't know if it's the rumors about Patty Jenkins being hard to work with, which I think is just hype because it's fun to shit on a woman in Hollywood these days for some reason, which is just stupid. But I don't know if it's that's put me off, and I'm totally not.
It was Chris Pine with a fanny pack.
Okay, no, I have 4 fanny packs. I'm not against a fanny pack. I'm against the fact that I've heard that there's real no backdrop to how they brought Chris Trevor back. Like they just expect you to believe it.
Well, no, there's a reason behind it.
Okay.
Because the premise of the movie, I'm not gonna try to ruin anything. There's a ancient Roman artifact or Greek artifact or whatever it is. It's got Latin writing on it, and it's some type of stone, and you're able to make a wish, one wish into it, but you also take something. It takes something most precious from you.
This is Marvel. That's fucking Marvel. That's Endgame.
It's called the Reality
I
Stone.
was just gonna say that.
No, is it the Soul Stone?
It's the Soul Stone.
Yeah.
Whatever it is. But I mean, basically she makes a wish to have her true love come back, right? And that's why he reappears. But he actually doesn't come back. He comes back in the body of another person that's about the same age in that present time.
Oh,
Well, didn't he crash that plane in the Arctic and be frozen under the ice for? Oh no, wait, that was Captain America.
Along with Bucky. Yeah.
I love how you're drawing
Wasn't there a scene with a
parallels.
train?
Mark.
I don't know. A train scene where he loses his best friend.
So even though he's actually in another person's body, she only sees him. So for the rest of the movie, you only see him, unless he looks in a mirror and he's looking at himself, and then you see the reflection of the other guy.
Okay.
So that's not actually Captain Kirk. I mean, getting my universes crossed. here.
Tiberius. Good old Tiberius.
It's not the crazy punk guy from what's that movie where they're trying to kill the guy in Reno?
Oh,
Jack Ryan, Shadow Recruit.
No.
Just kidding.
I know the one.
Oh,
Smoking Aces.
Smoking Aces.
Yeah.
Jeremy
That was
Piven.
the first place I saw Chris
Same.
Pine.
Yeah,
That's a
totally.
great movie.
It
And the funny thing is he looks really short in that movie, but it's just because the other guy is super tall.
Which that other guy was the big blob.
The other punk rocker guy is like a giant.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's a monster. Wasn't he a wrestler or something?
Yeah, something. He's like 6'8" or something like that.
Yeah.
So Chris Pine is like 6 feet tall, but he looks like he's like 5'4" or something.
He shrinks
Anyway,
him.
we're kind of going off.
No,
off the
whatever.
rails.
That's what we do here. There's no train station at the Reel Debaters.
At least it's movie talk.
Yeah, no. Right? Off the rails, as long as it's on point, it can be as far off the rails as we want it to be. That's what having your own fucking show is all about. Okay, so one review of Wonder Woman is lackluster. I don't even want to use free points to watch it, so it may take a while for all of us to start talking about it.
Save it for Dune.
Yeah, save
It's
it for Dune.
meh.
I'll save my
It's
jizz for
meh.
Dune. I'll jizz all over Dune. But
Please don't jizz all over Dune.
Yeah, please don't ruin Dune
I'll,
for me.
I'll,
Dune.
I'll fuck
I love
with
that.
I'll fuck with Dune.
I'll fucking
But
Dune.
as long as you don't jizz all over it, Mark, that's all I care about.
Yeah, just
you can fuck with
pull
it.
out and jizz elsewhere. Don't jizz on it because it's everybody's Dune.
Respect the Dune.
Respect the Dune. Martin, what'd you watch, buddy?
I think I told you guys in the chat group the other day that I wanted to watch a movie that I haven't seen in a long time, the Bruce Willis movie Hudson Hawk,
Yes.
just for the
yes.
ball biting scene, the dog that bites balls. Couldn't finish it. Could not finish it.
Isn't there a
I
scene
got-
where he's in like an ambulance in a gurney that's getting pulled behind?
Yeah. He's like going down, I think, some bridge in New York that's not busy for not as busy. I'm like, how's this bridge moving? Like, there's usually traffic on this bridge. Like, how is there enough room to maneuver in a gurney while you're driving down a bridge in New York City? It does have its moments. Like, it does. I mean, it's still it does have some funny parts, but I mean, I couldn't finish it. I think I got up to where the ball biting scene was, and then I stopped.
That's all you
And
wanted.
then that's all I wanted
Who's
to
the
say.
love interest in it? Is it Andy McDowell?
Yeah. It is
Yeah.
Andy McDowell. Yeah, she's the love interest.
He's like a poor
So I couldn't
man's
finish
Rocky
that.
in it, almost. Like it's not about boxing, but the way he dresses is very like poor man's Rocky to me, with the fedora and the coat and the fingers gloves.
He's a cat burglar.
Yeah, well,
That's how cat burglars dress.
okay.
It
So
also looks like when he's in the whole 9 yards.
Oh yeah,
Almost the same look.
somebody,
Or the
Doesn't he have, like,
jackal.
really-
The jackal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know
he's
what?
got really high pants with like a t-shirt, but then he's got like a long trench coat. Like it's like that weird bad early 90s look.
I'm really
Well, he went to jail in the 80s, and I don't think he changed his outfit from the 80s because the movie takes place in the 90s.
okay.
So yeah, he's still kind of trapped in that.
I did read a quote about Bruce Willis that Terry Gilliam was afraid of casting him in 12 Monkeys only because his
butt mouth.
His butt mouth. Yeah, you read that too. Okay. So fair. Ooh, what are you drinking there, Mark?
Look at my
Crafting.
cool. I bought a spherical ice cube maker.
Those are the best. I have one of those. Those are so awesome.
And it makes giant ice spheres. They look like Death Stars.
Does
You could buy Death Star ice cube trays.
Yes, you can.
does that
Oh, I'm gonna buy that right now on Amazon.
let's take a minute, everybody, for an Amazon break. If you too want to
so
buy
it-
something from Amazon, feel free.
Hudson Hawk I didn't finish, but I wanted to watch a better movie with ball biting in it, so I watched John Wick Parabellum, which is on Prime right now.
Just couldn't do it.
Oh,
There was a lot of ball biting in that one.
that
Huge
dog
amount.
scene is like 25 minutes long.
I know, it's awesome. I was like, I gotta see this again because I was so disappointed with the previous movie that I watched. So I watched that.
I want to
as
know
well.
how many dogs
had
that
a dog biting scene. Ball
I
biting.
have never seen a dog fight scene go on longer in a movie.
Oh, it's great.
No.
It's great. That whole scene was amazing. Just at the very beginning when he just like chopper stick balls, boom,
I think
hits him.
the only other dog fighting movie that you could say that takes place with the same amount of fighting is Turner and Hooch. Like in comparison to John Wick in the ball biting scene in Parabellum, like because Hooch is always by that or what was
Would
the
White Fang count? White Fang.
White Fang?
White Fang they had the dog fights in Alaska
Yeah,
before he
that could
adopts
count too,
the
yeah,
dog.
yeah.
They have a bunch of that.
Yeah,
What about Twilight? Does that count?
They're
you and
they're
your lichens.
they're not,
No, they have another name. I can't remember what they call them in that.
I like
In that universe, werewolves
Lycanthrope?
are not.
lycanthrope. Shut
No,
up.
not lycanthropic peoples.
Fuck off.
Lycanthropy.
I liken to talk about another fucking topic. So, Mark, what did you watch, buddy?
You're always trying to keep us on track here, Mike.
No,
This is
no,
really
no. I
weird.
just want to stop being made
It's
fun
like
of.
you're the host.
So I decided to start banging through some of the shows that I'd kind of missed, I guess.
Okay.
And I hit Prime pretty hard because I'd missed a bunch of shows on Prime. So I don't know if I talked about some of these, but I watched Utopia.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, I mean, you
Which
talked
was-
about it.
I watched
It was
last week.
fantastic. Yeah. I watched Upload.
Oh,
I watched that too as well.
Okay, upload.
Yeah, kind of a
upload.
cool.
Upload's good.
What's upload?
I liked it.
I've heard many things. Talk about upload.
Greg Daniels, the guy who did The Office North America, is the writer of Upload.
Yeah, it's sort of it's a comedy sort of that you basically before you die they've discovered how to take your conscience and upload you into a heaven,
Okay.
quote unquote, of your choice. Depending upon which package you get is how good your heaven is,
Oh,
how
boy.
much you can afford to pay per month.
It's very capitalistic in that way.
Yes.
I would
and
like
so
to
they
know
have
if
very
I-
Data
entertaining.
plan. Your data plan, man.
Exactly, where the two giggers that live on the bottom floor that only have 2 gigs a month. And,
Oh, oh, that's horrible. I can't imagine if I want unlimited data if this fucking happens.
I think the funniest thing is the two giggers. Their food is sponsored by, I forget what company, but it's sponsored by like a meal company, and they test out weird meals, and that's how they eat.
Lean cuisine,
Lean
wasn't
cuisine,
it?
yeah, Lean cuisine. Lean cuisine
But it
tests
was
out
like
new
the
recipes.
worst combination of foods you could mix together.
Yeah.
It was
Like
like
jalapeno.
used tire chicken or something.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so that was a good show. But again, like they got so many season ones of episodes on Prime. I'm leery to get into a season one, and because they don't continue a lot of them, right?
What the fuck is with that? You've noticed that too. Okay, I thought I just had a bad Prime account, like mine was busted, but
Like, I'm sad that Sneaky Pete isn't getting a season 4.
Well, see, and those are some of the ones that I get into where I'm like, oh, do I watch like a show that's from 2017 that only has 2 seasons? Because
Yeah.
I know it's only going to be 2 seasons.
Here's the thing, though, and you know what? I know you're saying, it's annoying that you see a lot of these only one season. We have to remember how many shows actually end up on network TV that only do 1 season and we never see it again. But the difference is we don't see it sitting on the streaming site, accessible for us to watch over and over and over again, right? So I don't think it's top of mind. I think there's way more failure 1 season shows out there than we realize.
I will counter
yeah.
that for a second here. I agree with you. One of the best failed season 1 shows is Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip. I can watch that season. That is a perfect example of trying to put everything into a season and then getting canceled and then being
Can I just say this? Firefly.
Yeah, see, like
1 season.
yeah,
Gone.
totally. But
Well, and that's I think the Prime's problem is that they greenlight like 20 shows to do season 1, and then they have to chop it down so much. But if they slowly release those shows, I think a lot of them could take. But they're competing against themselves, I think.
The other thing is too, though, Mark. I mean, they've got so much metadata to dig through to actually see engagement. And the other thing is too is that they gauge more than just how many people clicked on it. It's about how many people clicked on it, how many people actually watched the whole thing. Did they stop part way? Did they binge the whole series? So there's all these different things and different metrics play into whether they're going to greenlight another season other than just how many eyeballs viewed it for 1 second, right? Because a show might only have 12 million people see it, but if of those 12 million people, 80% of them binge the whole fucking season in 1 day, that show shows that it's got that appeal to greenlight it for another go.
Well, Utopia, I think like that show would easily catch on if more people watched it.
I thought it was really good. I was
Me
actually,
too.
when I finished it, I was disappointed because you guys told me that I watched it knowing it wasn't being renewed, and I was kind of like, damn it. But I was building a puzzle while I watched it, which made it tricky. I had to keep rewinding it because the
show is a puzzle. You got to really.
that's very meta. A puzzle of a show within a puzzle of an actual.
while doing a puzzle that had butterflies on it.
So, and then on a streaming service, I guess I just watched Palm Springs, the new Andy
I like
Samberg,
that. That was a good
Kristen
one.
Milioti film. Really, you know what? Pleasantly surprised. Good take on Groundhog Day sort of scenario. Well cast. I think it was really good.
Did you know, Mark, did you know that it was a Groundhog Day theme when you started watching it?
No, I didn't.
'Cause I didn't either, and I was blown away.
I have a question. Mike, can I share what we're going to be what we're working on? Not really the whole thing, but can I share that idea that we were talking about?
Anything on the show, man. Nothing.
Yeah, we're going to come up with a debate based on that theme. Because I noticed a bunch of movies based on like Groundhog Day, like repeating the same day over. So me and Mike are working on like a debate based around that kind of theme.
One of
what
my
I
favorite
love-
Tom Cruise movies.
What I loved is the way that they like Andy Samberg, even and Christine Milioti, when she gets kind of sucked into the time, is that how they spend their recurring. It's like that's what I do. I do crazy shit knowing that it doesn't matter if I die or whatever, right?
Zero
like,
consequence.
That's the part I loved. Finally, they're doing what I would do in that scenario.
I liked how they really had to figure out their own it's like they figured out their own solution on how to get out of that loop. It wasn't just, they had to really science the shit out of it, which was
Why can I see
awesome.
Rob doing that? He's like the Kristen Milioti character that fucking learns quantum physics. And...
I really like the guy too. What's his name from Whiplash?
Thank you.
His character was awesome.
Oh, J.K. Simmons.
Yeah, J.K. Simmons' character from in that one was great. He's like that crazy guy who accidentally gets swept in and just constantly trying to kill.
Oh yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah.
The thing I liked about the Palm Spring too was the fact, I think to your point, right? They're doing things that I would want to do, Groundhog Day had to be PG, right? Because of when it was released. But you can tell that obviously like a character like that would have gone off the fucking hook. He would have been like finding heroin in Pentusky and fucking shooting it up and God knows what else, right?
Well, I love the scene where it's like have we ever had sex in one of your recurrent? No, we've never. And then later on in the show, oh, come on, we've done it 1,000 times.
Well, it's like Bill Murray at that girl with the restaurant, right? He's like, do we go to high school together? And then he comes back, he trial and error eventually until he does get to sleep with her.
Well, or how about how Bill Murray's character, he's been through so many times, he's learned how to sculpt ice with a chainsaw. Like,
oh, that's right.
Play the piano.
Like,
masterfully.
How long would that take?
So like,
about as long as it takes to learn quantum physics and send a goat through the other dimension.
10,000 hours, right? To be a master of something?
10,000.
At a master of a skill, you're supposed to put 10,000 hours in?
Yeah, guys, we're like 2,000 shy on
It was alarming to me that she could find C4 that easily.
It is the USA.
Yeah, but it's a protected
It is America.
substance. I mean, it's not like it's sitting on fucking...
And it's Nevada. Or were they in Nevada?
No, California. Palm Springs,
Cali,
California.
right.
Yeah.
Come on, I think they sell it at 7-Eleven. There's an aisle for that.
If not 7-Eleven, Kmart.
But the detonators and the C4 have to be in separate aisles.
Yes.
That's the only rule.
Yeah.
The detonators are behind the counter.
You gotta ask for those. What's her name? Christine Miliani. Did you say that right? Did I hear that?
Yes,
right?
Kristen Milioti.
Okay,
she's the mother from How I Met Your Mother.
Okay, but has anybody else seen? I believe This Is 2020, like the mockumentary of 2020 on Netflix.
Oh, yeah, I haven't yet.
Okay, that's
she's
her. She's the Karen. So how they have like every different person, like a small sample size, and they're doing that single interview style shot, and they interview her, and she's. Have you seen it, Mark, or am I?
No, it's on my list, but I haven't seen it yet.
It's super funny. It's tongue in cheek. It really does a great job of making you look back on the year and laugh more than wallow in your own COVID 20-pound gain and whatever else happened to you. But she's Karen, like every Karen on the planet. She's the white supremacist soccer mom who has no idea that she's treating people with disrespect, and she is absolutely genius in the role. Like I think she's almost breaking.
Yeah, white privilege up the wazoo.
Oh God, yeah. Like it is a perfect example of the worst kind of Karen that exists, which I've heard that not a single Karen has been named since November 2019 in America. There's not a single Karen that was named after being typecast as.
I feel
Karen
bad for people named Karen. It's kind of like people with the name Alexa. Like, fuck you, Amazon. You ruined that name for how many people? All the Alexas should do a class action lawsuit against Amazon.
I also have an issue, and this is going to go in a completely separate direction, but we'll get there really quick, is that a Karen has kind of been adopted by the younger generation to mean like an annoying older person.
Yeah.
And I'm not a big fan of the way that it's like so readily accepted. Because they're basically making fun of people my age that like get back to work and get off your phone. Oh, shut up, Karen. No, like you're just using it as an excuse to go about your Gen Zer ways.
The and like the boomer comment too, like any of those.
Exactly.
Yeah,
the
like
boomer one is deserved. Fuck the boomers.
But don't fuck with Gen Xers.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
Gen X and millennials and the guys right on the cusp like me, don't mess with us.
What are you, Xennials or Zennials?
I'm born in '79, so I'm like a Gen Xer technically, but I definitely think I'm more millennial, but I'm kind of both.
But there's a subgenre of it called Xennials.
77 to 83.
Yeah, where we started without technology
where I did a school project with the World Book Encyclopedia, but I'm down with motherfucking tech and shit.
And then you became a coder. Those kind of people.
Well, he did learn to code, so.
Yeah. Like I come from where in the world is Carmen Sandiego and Paintbrush on Apple?
Dude, Encyclopedia Britannica.
Oh no, I know.
That's where I came from. Encarta, Microsoft Encarta.
What about
that's where I came
anybody
from.
else? Anybody else Oregon Trail too?
I'm more cross country Canada.
There's a whole thing I watched on Gen Xers there, Mike, that you say it. It's like we grew up and we knew how hard it was before technology, and then technology came and we embraced technology, so we're good at that, so we know the good and the old, but for some reason we kept dying of dysentery.
Dysentery gets all.
Oh shit, that's one. Like, you know how you, like, every closet has like one T-shirt from like 30 years ago, and then you've got all your new current wardrobe. That's my one 30-year ago T-shirt. It says "You will die of dysentery," and it's the graphic from the game on it. And I just, no matter how many times I move and purge my closet, I can't. I don't want to, because if I throw it out, I'll probably die of dysentery.
You actually have that shirt?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. Like it's one of my like prized possessions. It's like, it's kind of when I started showing my inner geek on my outer person instead of like just, you know, shyly sitting in the corner masturbating to Star Wars news. It was when I was like okay with like, you don't have to be cool. You can be a geek. Geek's the new chic, right? All that shit.
Can anybody pinpoint when being geek became cool?
Big Bang Theory.
2005.
What year?
Big Bang Theory, whatever that was.
Yeah, no, that's a good question. Like, because I remember when it wasn't. I think we all remember when it wasn't, because we're not douches. So by default, we must be geeks.
It was around 2003 to 2005, somewhere in that range.
Yeah.
What came out that made it that way?
Lord of the Rings,
Even then, I don't think.
Harry Potter.
I guess so. Harry Potter, a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Harry Potter was so mainstream that even like cool people are like, I can't not like this because everyone likes it.
But then, like once the first Iron Man movie came out,
Yeah.
and everyone that we're like, yeah, I've read a comic book when I was a kid, but whatever, fuck comic books, and they were like, holy shit! And then all of a sudden, all the best fucking movies and TV series were either based on mainstream comic books or on graphic novels or some like dark horse fucking, you know, series or something, right? And
now that all the big ones have been banged out, you're getting the more obscure.
Yeah.
but that shit's almost better.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. To the pure nerds, they're like, okay, we got all the big pop culture things out of the way. Now we're getting into like the subgenre cool shit.
Yeah, no, totally. And I mean, me and Martin talked as soon as we started the podcast, as soon as Lord of the Rings is on Prime, like there's a strong idea of doing like a weekly episode follow-up, you know, like deep dive,
Episode
deep
in
cut,
review.
sorted review of it with the show. Yeah, whoever wants to join in. But like, I would love to add that as like just a thing.
Call it Word of the Ring.
Yes. Fuck. Oh my God. Lightning in a bottle, sir. Yeah.
Like the Talking Dead.
Yeah, fuck.
WOTOR. We'll call it WOTOR.
Lord of the Rings. Oh my God. Okay, copyright, Reel Debaters.
Can we do a Wheel of Time one too?
Dude, we can do whatever we want.
I'm reading that series right now.
Like,
I'm on book 3.
But
I'm on book 13.
just I wanna summarize something here, because you guys all make such great fucking points about when did geekdom become cool? But you know what the really interesting thing is
It was always cool.
it was always,
man.
yeah, it was.
always
See,
cool.
it was
In my
always
heart.
cool. It just wasn't always mainstream. But can you imagine being the guy who was buried in Dungeons and Dragons and fantasy and sci-fi when it wasn't cool?
I am that guy.
I was Martin, I was setting myself up for a fucking zinger. I was like, Martin, would you mind telling us? Would you fucking beat me to it, Eminem?
Got you.
But like, look, yeah, like that kind of shit. See, Rob's showing a fucking Dungeons and Dragons playbook. The point of what I'm saying is that all of
it's the player's handbook, not a playbook.
Sorry, I'm not.
That is the player's handbook. Thank you very much.
Okay.
It doesn't contain all the rules, but it contains enough of the rules for the player to play the game.
I will roll my D12, my D20 now to determine which class I will play. I'm hoping for a barbarian thief.
The point of what I'm saying is now these guys who, when it wasn't cool, are now the foremost experts on this shit. And now they're in the spotlight. Now they're at Comic-Cons. Now they're like, now there's girls dressing up as cosplay hotties from nerdy play shit from when we were all kids. That says something about the level of cool that geekdom and geek culture now have. Like there's Maxim Calendar girls dressed up as Chung-Li, and you know, San Diego Comic-Con is a mecca. So, you know, fuck all you guys who used to beat us up and make fun of us for it, because now we're leading the charge. Cool.
Can I say one other thing too? I mean, I think the fact that when Barack Obama became president in 2008, that was a big thing too, because every president prior to that, except for maybe Jimmy Carter, was like a jock.
Yeah.
Right?
Football jacket, Letterman.
And I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, Obama can play basketball like nobody's business. That's awesome backdrop. Thank you. But he's into Star Trek and he knows lots about science and he's kind of geeky, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's a reflection of him. Maybe other presidents were geeky too. They just didn't talk about it because it wasn't mainstream. But I don't know. Maybe there's a tie in there.
Yeah, no, I know what you're talking. Like he put out his list this year, and The Boys is one of Barack Obama's favorite TV shows.
Oh, serious? That's amazing.
Right? And Smith was saying about it. Kevin Smith said he's like, he doesn't have to do that, right? He can hide. He can keep all that shit quiet, and he can be Bill Clinton cool, who was like, oh, he's got a cat and he's a jazz musician, right? Like that was where kind of Bill Clinton broke from being so presidential to like, oh, he can play a saxophone. He's not just, a stick up his ass. But Barack Obama, yeah, his level of cool really helped. Like him being honest about
remember when he wore that tan suit, man.
Or like the shit he would do when he had Keegan-Michael Key from Key and Peele be his hype man at the correspondence dinner.
Correspondence dinner, yeah.
Right. And then like there was one point where like Key was being Barack would say something and then Key would hype it up. And they would do that back and forth bit, but then all of a sudden Barack broke from it and almost dropped an N-bomb, and you were like, "Whoa!" And like that was him showing you that he can push the envelope, and I'm cool, and I'm into some weird, geeky, funny, odd shit, and that too obviously helps our
and
cause.
Barack Obama can make fun of himself.
Yeah, he can.
He should run again. Can he serve 3 non-consecutive terms or no?
No, but he could be a VP. So if Kamala. If the rumor mill is true and Biden steps down for either a bullet or health reasons, then Kamala comes in and they'll need a VP. So it could be an Obama. It just might not be the male version. That's my favorite conspiracy theory rumor jumping around now from what's going on with whatever happens south of the border. But that's a different podcast.
Oh, you can't tell me that Michelle didn't have a better shot than Hillary Clinton.
100% she did. If she had run, oh my God. She'd I think that would have been a whole different fucking campaign.
Didn't Michelle Obama go to Harvard too?
I don't know.
Oh, she's incredible.
Yeah, like she's she was like a partner. She was like a partner before she was 30 at her law firm.
Oh, both of them are like leaps and bounds.
It doesn't just happen.
The best 2 people who I think who've ever occupied that office, like as a team, because Bill and Hillary, whatever, George and Linda Bush. Yeah, that was her name. And everybody else are like, very regal, but like Barack and Michelle would cut a rug and they would like, like be funny and have exchanges and be open about like, they're just come back.
Want to hear a fun fact? Tipper Gore, who's Al Gore's wife.
Yeah.
She had a big campaign in the 80s against Dungeons and Dragons.
Really?
Just I put it that way.
She was the spearheader of giant censorship movement, also against like rap music.
Yeah.
She's part of the reason that the explicit parental advisory labels are on.
Yes, that's
album.
her claim to fame. I saw that on something recently.
Her and Two Live Crew had a giant battle too back in the.
They have a rap
80s,
battle.
Can you imagine if that was happening nowadays?
A rap battle?
Facebook and Twitter.
Was it Tipper Gore versus 2 Live Crew on stage who could twerk better?
There's a line in one of the songs that says, "Tipper Gore protesting our lyrics. Fuck that bitch. I don't need her clearance."
Nice.
That I stuck out in my mind before I had any clue who Al Gore was or anything.
It's not easy to rhyme with lyric. That's for sure. So kudos
Sweet.
to that. I heard a knock at the door, gentlemen, which could only mean one thing. Let's just find out who's there. Give me a second here. Yeah, who could it be? Let's see. Who's at the door? Who wants us to start the debate? Oh, that would be Sherlock. Sherlock says we should start the debate. So, guys, let's start the fucking show. Martin, do you remember if this was my idea or your idea?
Oh, it's definitely mine.
Okay, yeah, I thought so.
There's no ifs, ands, and buts about that.
I
You
got
were
so
like, hey,
buried
Martin,
in
what should we
this.
do this for this debate? I'm like, oh, I've been thinking about this since we're going into TV. Here's the idea.
Which is okay, yeah. Now it's all coming back to me because I got so excited.
You wrote it up though. You
Yeah,
wrote it up.
yeah.
You wrote all the my typings on the chat with us.
Yes.
Like I just spewed out a bunch of letters and you put it all together in one.
Well, I got
one-
super excited like it was mine because I'm a fucking Survivor nut. So, ladies and gentlemen, our first debate of the year Brought to you by Nicolas Cage, of course, because he's just, come on, let's go.
And
let's
Kevin
go.
Costner.
And Kevin Costner, too. And a lot of people. This debate is brought to you by whoever you want it to be brought to you by. But specifically, it's brought to you by the idea of Survivor, the original. I mean, I think there were reality TV shows before.
It was the first reality TV show.
The first big one.
I believe it was the very first.
Totally. I agree. And I was into it for I think the first 3 years. I remember Richard Hatch winning, the guy who walked around naked, didn't give a shit about anybody, mowed over everybody, didn't form an alliance, went solo and kicked the game in the ass. And I've watched back catalog now because Sean is a huge fan of it. I think I've seen almost every season. I'm probably 6 to 8 seasons shy of it.
There's a lot.
There is a fuck
lot
ton of it. There's so many different variations of it. But in short, today's debate is inspired by our first debate of the year, the fact that we're doing TV now. So we took the idea, and as always, Martin will correct me if I'm wrong, we took Survivor in its entirety, in its original inception, rules, location, all that stuff. Just imagine Survivor, but take a movie and the female lead in
or
that
TV
movie,
show
or TV show, doesn't matter. Take anything. But take a show of some sort, take the lead female character in that show, which Martin's is the best, by the way. I'm just going to preface that today. And then make Survivor that theme. So use your female lead as your inspiration for how this show would go, how the challenges would go, how the idols would be, all of the things about Survivor. But make it your theme. So, for an example, Martin used, if you were to pick Lincoln, then this would be Gettysburg. Am I right about that, Martin?
Survivor Gettysburg.
Survivor Gettysburg. Right? So Lincoln would be involved somehow. Challenges would be inspired by Lincoln and the theme of the movie, correct?
Yep.
And the only thing we had to do was make sure it was a female lead because we
female character,
celebrate female leads, get more female conversation going about movies in Hollywood and shit because they're storytellers. As no sex is required on this show. We don't care if you're he or she or whatever. So female leads in this. And am I forgetting anything?
Nope.
No? Okay.
That's pretty much it.
All right, cool. So I will lead us off. Rob will go next. Martin will go third. Mark will close the show out.
Quick before you start, Mike, favorite all-time Survivor participant.
Favorite all-time Survivor participant. Sean is not here. I'm going to forget. I think his name is Ty. He is a Vietnam POW. Well, he was in a Chinese prison camp, and he did.
Those are two totally different countries.
Yeah, no, I know. I think he's Vietnamese.
You're like Vietnam.
Yeah, no, shut up.
Visitor. Chinese prison camp, though.
It's a movie podcast, not geography. So I think he's Vietnamese, but he was in a Chinese prison camp. And he was just a lovable, strong guy. There was one resistance challenge where they were standing on this tiny little pole, and some guy was like, "I'm gonna outlast you," and he was like, "I was in a Chinese prison camp. I can be here all day." Like, he's just a resilient motherfucker. Second to that, I can't remember his fucking name, but it was Gen X versus Millennials, and he has the record for a similar type of challenge where they had to, basically hang Jesus on a cross and hold themselves on a ledge, and he went 7 hours in the blazing hot fucking sun and was like, I'm not giving up, and was going up. He was a nerd, he was a mathematician. He actually brought he would fraction and figure out the averages of who, he basically read the book That Beautiful Mind, the John, what's his name, John from Beautiful Mind.
We know who you're talking about.
You know who I'm talking about. Anyways, he wrote a book on how to play Survivor. He basically used that book. I think he's the only person I think I've ever seen use that playbook in action. And he was like, okay, the odds of these two people beating me, but beating each other. And then he would form his own alliances. And he played that way until everybody was like, this guy's an actual threat, and missed top 3 by 2 votes. Those two.
He couldn't have been a millennial on that one because a millennial couldn't hang from something for 7 hours without Instagramming.
And then, okay, but you bring up good points, Mark, because I do want to talk about favorite reality TV shows to close the show, and if we're all Survivor fans, because I don't know if we all are or not, but
I'm a Boston Rob fan.
Oh, Boston!
That's what I'm saying. Shout out to Boston Rob and Amber.
Boston and Rob and Amber too, which Rob just. The one season Rob mastermind everybody and was like the fucking puppet master. It was the one he won, and he came back and people were like, Rob is doing this, and they're like, yeah, we know, and they just wouldn't bend on him. He had everybody doing his bidding. So Yeah, there's been some highs and some lows. There's been people who've been voted off with like 4 idols in their pocket and they didn't play one. You're like, what the fuck were you thinking? Anyways, that's where we're headed today. And then we'll end the show, like I said, with some chat about I know Rob watches reality television. I know Mark does. I think we all do on some level. No matter what, you can't not watch reality television these days. So my fucking tablet is right over here. Let me get up my notes. To introduce you.
I'm a fucking reality TV fiend, actually,
Really?
while you're finding your stuff, Mike. So
Oh my God.
I've watched every genre of reality TV imaginable.
I'm looking so forward to hearing what you're into because, like, I love challenge-based shit. That's my jam. So, anyways, gentlemen, this will be the end of your time sound effect. As always, do we all hear that? Yes. Perfect. And I've got some fun little side notes here for some sound effects, too, that might or may not make it into the show. Ladies and gentlemen, I have picked my favorite female serial robot killer / almost sentient human, Dolores Abernathy from Westworld. My island, it's my island, is essentially Westworld. I've picked for the show. We had to agree because some of us have seen all the seasons, some of us haven't. But I'm staying within the first 2 seasons of the show. So it is Sweetwater, right? That's the island. You do have to get there by boat. But once you get there, the island has been made. And I figured it'd be fun to keep it off like the Gulf Coast, like just off the coast of Corpus Christi, right? To keep it a little, a little crazy, a little American. Because everything's bigger and better in Texas. So once you get there, you get on the train that actually takes you to Sweetwater. And as with every survivor, you get there, you have no alliances. You're on your team. You have no idea who these people are. So you have to build a base camp. So you have to build Dolores's log cabin that she grew up in. And it's a very rudimentary design, but nonetheless, you've got to build some sort of like Western settler-esque lean-to or log cabin, if you will. And everything's there to do it. Like it's a more advanced version of Survivor because this is a more advanced society at the time with these crazy fucking robots. So you'll ride by boat and you'll spend the exact same amount of time, which I believe is 38 or 39 days. Challenges I had. So immunity and reward challenges, just like the show. So there are solo, there are group challenges, just like the show. They would be based on the severity of the time. Okay. So as the show progresses and the adventures in Westworld get more brutal, thus the show would too. So you kind of start by running into Dolores in town would be a challenge, and then mapping your way back to her cabin where she lives, right? Dolores is in and out of these challenges, but the experiences that she's had, I've kind of laced into this. So, for example, in season 1 or season 2, I believe she has got to convince a Confederate army to do her bidding. That's a challenge. It's either a solo challenge or a reward challenge or a group challenge, right? You can play with all of these no matter what. I didn't really think too much what scene would be what challenge, but more or less what scene in the show could be a challenge. Milking virtual cows is part of it as well too. Like you're left to the chores of the day. So keeping a farm going, all of these things are laden in, and the point of surviving, which I haven't mentioned yet, but the point of surviving is to not get hacked. Okay. If you end up either losing a challenge and being voted off the show, well, I'll get to that because it's kind of confusing. But Tribal's based on any other situation in Tribal. There's solo and group challenges. Everybody goes as a group to vote each other out. I didn't change too much of that. Here's the kicker, okay? As you go to the island, you have to sign a waiver in my game. And what that waiver is that if you get voted out, you get one chance to boot your consciousness into a robot of your choosing. And if that robot can figure out one challenge, it can stay in the game. If it can't figure out a challenge, but the next upcoming challenge, it's booted out. So there's a chance for you to still win, but you're not winning. It's your consciousness that's been booted into a robot. The idols, they're the maze that Dolores carries around with her, that little circular maze with the marbles in it. There are hidden immunity idols, so you can just dig them up, find them wherever you are. Dolores is also the host of the show. She leads all Tribals challenges, comes in random forms, so she can be her pleasant self, or she can be her sociopathic version of Wyatt, which was the Confederate soldier who cleared the town. So you never know who you're really dealing with at a challenge. You could have like a really nice version or a really soft version. The winner survives by never being hacked and truly winning your freedom. So as the show progresses, you find out that essentially they're trying to hack people and create a perfect society. So you're allowed to live off grid as a winner. That's the point of the show. If you lose, you're hacked, your information goes in the system, and then you're fully watched for the rest of your life. So it's a little risque as opposed to just winning $1 million, but it's the tie of the times. If a tie occurs between survivors in any challenge, they simply meet at high noon, pull out their iron, shoot themselves. Whoever lives. Just like Survivor, these are simulated rounds and not real.
They
bullets.
shoot themselves?
Yep.
That doesn't seem productive.
Well, the winner of that challenge.
I would say it's counterproductive.
I'm almost done. So in a tie, two people will try to shoot each other. The winner of that, whoever shoots the other person first, then has to show down with Dolores. Fuck off.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think I've covered all my bases. Yes, I have. I am in the hot seat, so we'll just do this for posterity's sake. I'm done. Martin, feel free to chew me out.
Where's all the fucking? I mean, isn't that what Westworld?
Where's the brothel?
Yeah, it's a big part of Westworld was fucking. Like, if you're gonna be doing Westworld, like that's what I would expect for you to go for that. But I mean, I had a question too. Like, I mean, they're living on a farm. How is the survival aspect cutting in? Because they've got a farm they can, plant and grow shit. The whole point of Survivor was you're given limited resources. It's hard for you to survive. You have to do what you have to do to survive, and you're given rations.
Yeah, you're given rations.
Where's the survival aspect? I'm just trying to figure out where
Sure,
the survival
totally.
aspect of this show is.
Dysentery is a real risk here.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, listen, Mark.
They should call it Survivor Dysentery. That's what that should.
To answer both of your questions, one, the fucking is happening because I didn't want to. I wanted to stay.
It's not really surviving if fucking is
Oh,
happening.
hang on. What I did was I thought, okay, Survivor's the original social experiment, and Westworld is based on a social experiment. So I'm just trading the background of where Survivor's taking place, but I was trying to tie everything in so you wouldn't chew me out for getting too far out of, like getting too into the weeds, right? Second to that, the fucking is occurring. I just didn't want to make it the basis of my argument because it's Westworld. Obviously, you go there to sin and sin all day long. So here's a caveat that I had, just in case somebody asked me about that. If you're walking through town and you want to call out and be like, there's going to be hosts and there's going to be humans as part of the production team. They're going to be buried in the background. So if you can call out a robot and be sure it's a robot, or call out a human and be sure it's a human, instant immunity or instantly voted off. That was kind of what I had as a little bit.
A question.
Go ahead.
What if you just like go up to everybody and be like, hey, you're a robot, you're a robot, you're a robot. Oh, you're not a robot, you're not. Oh, there's a robot. I got immunity for this challenge.
Yeah, no, you got one shot. Like, it's like if I walked up to you, I could be like, he's a human. And if I'm wrong, it's
Okay.
So it's a gamble. You get one and done, because we don't want to be, too easy to play this game.
You're missing the opportunity here, Mike, to have sort of a Westworld Survivor After Dark where people can log on and watch them 24 hours when the cameras are off.
like what is it? The Hacienda in Survivor and the Big Brother. What's the Big
Brother does that,
Yeah.
right?
Big Brother does that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I thought about that, but then I got to create a subscription service and I got to price it, and I was like, that's in the weeds. But
No, just make it free like Pornhub and just do ads.
Oh, ad-based for sure, 100%.
Yeah.
They show you 10 seconds and then they cut it off until you pay.
I like how you're like worried about the complexity of like explaining a subscription service, but you've added so many fucking rules to your fucking Survivor that like
It really doesn't seem
We're
like
not equipped to
Survivor.
take payments.
It doesn't seem
we
like
have all
Survivor
these
anymore.
rules, but payment's not gonna happen.
we only accept Square.
They won't take your money, only the advertisers.
We've built this massive island with semi-autonomous humanoids.
We spend
but-
no expense on the realism of these robots.
Okay.
They won't take your money.
All right.
But bringing PayPal on board is not a possibility.
Patreon? Is there a Patreon tab somewhere?
There's no tap. Is there tap in this town? Can I just bust out my credit card and tap?
No,
for
no,
reason?
dude. It's all.
You can tap that ass, Martin. Tap that ass.
Where's the lady that has the crazy snake tattoo? Is she in this?
you can customize this because essentially you're kind of like what you're surviving is two things.
I want to see full body jailhouse bad tattoos like hers.
I love that fucking tattoo. That was a sick tattoo. But you're
It looked like somebody with that was right-handed did the tattoo with their left hand.
while driving through the desert on the back of a Humvee.
Totally, like when Steve-O got that
That's
tattoo.
totally what I was thinking. So to answer a question here, Martin, you're surviving the elements, and as the elements occur in Westworld, they get harder, so the challenges get harder. So you're surviving on limited resources.
The town you can go to.
Hang on. No, but
But the saloon's been cleared out. There's no booze there. But there's
You can
prostitutes.
still fuck.
and you can still fuck.
It's like
Okay.
Survivor was a basic thing. It's like food and shelter are your two things that you need to survive. Everything else is a luxury.
You're trying to survive chlamydia and gonorrhea.
I knew going into this that I wasn't going to have I wasn't going to trace this out accurately. I was going to just try to do as best I could with what I had. And that's why I said I was going to win this week, because I just felt cocky as shit.
I just want to play on Rob's comment. So you're not like you're surviving chlamydia and gonorrhea, so they just don't clean the hosts.
No.
So that's why you're trying to survive. You're gonna bang one and be like, well, I don't know who banged this before me, but it's a risk.
All right. Rob and Mark, anything before we pass the torch on to Rob?
I mean, I like your idea. I feel like you overcomplicated your argument with digging into the rules and these very small specifics in an episodic kind of perspective. I would have just liked to seen a better like overview of the whole plot and premise.
I agree with you on that.
And
Yep.
the cool shit.
No,
I don't even know about immunity challenges and that shit.
But that's where my love of Survivor is. And I realized I looked at it from a technical perspective instead of more of a storytelling perspective.
You're like the
That's
production
fucking
manager
exactly what I did.
perspective.
I was like, how do we make this work, guys?
Where are the grips going to be in this situation? To get the proper camera angles with how many drones will we have? And
How many drones in the room where this guy and this girl are having
we're
sex?
going to need 17 scissor lifts. And
Could we put a camera in her? No, never mind.
All right, Mark, any final thoughts?
Like a
No,
GoPro for your penis. Sorry, I wanted to say that.
Exactly.
We'll play on what Mark said.
It's a
GoPro for your penis.
It's a pro penis.
I feel like, Mike, that Westworld was already sort of a Survivor in some ways, so I don't know that you're deviating far enough from the original plot of the movie.
Oh, I see
Show.
what you're doing.
ooh, it's a TV show, actually.
Well, no,
It's a serial,
yeah.
a streaming serial.
I love this new voice we've all adopted. It's very interesting.
It's kind of like the annoying know-it-all nerdy guy that you want to just you want to push down a flight of stairs.
Like the guy from Clerks 2 who pukes after the Lord of the Rings speech.
Yes.
Isn't it-
But we all have a little bit of that person inside of us.
Simpsons, isn't it Frank?
Yeah, Frank is or the comic book guy or Frank.
Yeah,
Totally. All right.
sort of an amalgamation of those two, a portmanteau of those two.
Moving on here. Moving on. All right, Rob, how about you fuck us up with some truth and tell us what you brought?
All right, is
Yeah,
it my
it's your
turn? Okay. So I kind of went a little bit off the rails a little bit. So I'm not doing like a newly themed Survivor, so to speak. I basically this is my premise. So I love the movie The Running Man. Like I fucking love it. It still holds up. It's actually a little scary how it lines up with some crazy shit in the real world's kind of going. But I love the idea of like a bunch of humans being thrown in a situation with live ammo and weapons, and they have to fight for their lives.
sick
and
fuck.
shit. And we need more of this. I feel like this needs to happen. So my idea is the contestants, they're volunteers, but they're kind of like voluntold because, I'm kind of thinking it's almost like a modern take on debtor's prison. So people with like excessive amounts of debt, they can opt to go into this game to basically clear that debt and, kind of continue life, the way they want to without having to file bankruptcy. And, you can't get rid of your student loans in the United States by filing bankruptcy. Well, if you go on this game show, you can, right? Like that kind of thing, right? So tons of recruits for this, lots of volunteers. We'll always have fresh meat coming in, so to speak, right? Now, the cool thing about this is that, ironically, the bad guys or the guys that are going to be, you're going to have the contestants and they're going to be like either, working together, or they're going to be battling each other, because there's going to be limited weapons, limited food, limited places to rest your head, those kind of things. But then there's also going to be the bad guys, kind of like in the movie The Running Man, where they would bring in the different dudes. But these guys are all going to be former game show hosts. Okay. So you're going to have an Alex Trebek guy, and he's going to have like the Q&A attack and some type of weapon like that. You're going to have
his finishing move of the Daily Double, or
yeah, totally, right? You're going to have Pat Sajak and Vanna White. They're going to be the duo of doom. And
You
so they'll
fucking
come
buy a
in.
vowel.
You're going to have Bob Barker, and Bob Barker, he's like a scrappy kind of boxer. You know what I mean?
Is the price wrong, bitch?
Exactly. You're going to have Richard Dawson in there, arguably the best Family Feud host, and ironically also the host of The Running Man from the Running Man movie that, Arnold Schwarzenegger was in.
he's just going to be running around sexually assaulting the contestants and trying to kiss them.
I was thinking, I didn't really I wasn't sure what to suggest as his weapon or finishing move, but it would be, something to that effect. Drew Carey's got to be in there. And, his finishing move is basically telling you how good Cleveland is, Cleveland rocks. Wayne Brady's got to be in there. He was in the revamp of Deal or No Deal.
Is he going to choke a bitch?
And obviously, he can sing like no one's business. So he'll have some type of siren type of, effect, like he'll woo in the contestants and lure them into a trap, and he'll be camping out and kill them. And of course, little known, Jeff Probst was a game show host. He hosted the Rock and Roll Jeopardy.
He totally did.
Previous to Survivor. So he will also be one of the game show baddies. Now, to tie in kind of the female movie characters.
Yes, please.
I chose, from the Hunger Games, which does really kind of have a, hunting humans kind of theme to it. Katniss Everdeen, played by Jennifer Lawrence, and Elizabeth Banks' character, Effie Trinket, will be the two co-hosts of the show. So you got someone that's hosted something similar before, and will have good banter and funny commentary. And then you'll also have Katniss, who's been in the trenches and has survived hunting other humans, to really talk about it and those kind of things. And I figured each season can have a different theme. You could have jungle's theme, you could have mean streets of Detroit, subterranean New York kind of fucking theme kind of thing. So there's tons of awesome stuff to do here, and that's my game show.
I was gonna say Escape from LA season.
Totally.
Like a John Carpenter movie.
Yeah, and like everyone's got to be dressed like Snake, right? With like fucking eye patches and shit.
Okay, first of all, I love your sick sense of whatever this is. Like wherever this is coming from, I like it. And honestly, yeah, okay, you're hanging a carrot over these debtors' heads, which essentially it's conflict, so it makes for great watching. You can't watch something if you don't have conflict. We all know this, and our friend Doug Darling says this all the time. So shout out to Doug. Yes, you always need some sort of conflict. My only real reservation with your show is
the ethics behind it?
I'm okay, man. If you thought we should deal with COVID came out of my mouth, you'd be like, yeah, he's okay with it. I'm just kidding, but I just don't know that Katniss would be good in front of the camera with all that PTSD she's suffering. I just feel like great. She's got some backstory. She'd have great color commentary, but I feel it would just be in the form of somebody who's gone through too many.
So the only issue you have is that my host may have too much PTSD to be a good host.
I want to be entertained because I'm not entertained. Are you not entertained?
I'm going to defend Rob here and say that Banks will probably do the majority of the hosting job, and Katniss would just be referred to sort of the insider point of view for the color commentary. Because Elizabeth Banks, I picture her character from Pitch Perfect, where they're doing all the hosting for the competitions, and that's perfect.
That's kind of what had popped in my mind, and then but like kind of like tying in her weird kind of strange character from the Hunger Games.
Yes. I like that a lot.
Okay, now that Mark has rephrased it, I'm like Wonder Woman. I'm like you. I'm coming to maybe like it more.
Well, it's sometimes you need to see a different perspective or digest things a little bit to really get your true feelings out about
True. Where is this taking place? Are you building a studio for it, or are we using like outdoor sets?
Well, obviously, it's going to be in international waters because we don't want the Geneva Convention to play in here and a slew of other international.
Yeah, I got it. You don't want any studio interference.
It's kind of like how Dana White wanted to have that fight island that was going to be that secret location like earlier in the spring.
They have Fight Island.
Oh, it's a real
It's off
thing?
the coast of Abu Dhabi. Yeah.
Oh.
Wow.
Oh, nice.
All right.
You can do anything in the UAE, man. There's no rules there, except for you're not allowed to wear a bikini on the beach or kiss somebody in public.
Don't show your nose, but you can fight.
You can kill another man with your bare
Oh,
fists.
it's such a dark way of looking at it, but it's so true.
I really want to see it. I want to see the UFC do like a separate kind of like tier thing where they fight. Where remember in Bloodsport when they dip their hands
in glass?
in the glue?
That's kickboxer.
and then
That's
in the
kickboxer,
glass?
not Bloodsport. Kickboxer.
Was that kickboxer?
Yeah.
Sorry, my bad.
Jesus.
But I love that scene.
Oh, it's such a badass fucking scene. Okay, all right. I'm good. Like, I mean, I like your idea. I like your premise. I like your inspiration. I mean, I know.
I'm waiting for Martin to rip
Yeah,
us apart.
no, and I'm just buying you time. So, but like, no, I would watch that. Is it late? It's got to be late night. Like this isn't Tuesday night at 7. This is probably.
Oh, this is pay-per-view,
pay-per-view.
bro.
Okay.
This is subscription service. Yeah.
It's not on the game show channel for free.
No, and there's going to be massive betting behind this because Vegas is going to be all over this. There's going to be odds on all, and there's going to be like, stats on all the people and like why they're in debt and what their background is. And, I'm hoping you're going to have like a really indebted guy that was on Ninja Warrior and everyone's like, oh, this guy's going to be awesome. And, oh, this guy stormed the Capitol building in Washington, D.C. Oh, man, he's got light arms, expertise, like, that kind of shit.
Got it. Martin?
A couple of things. Question: what is your Survivor season called? That's what I wanted to know. What do you call it? Because Mike's a Survivor Westworld. What is yours called? Survivor.
Jetters.
If you don't have one, it's fine. You can come back to it.
Something with debtors in the name because we want to allude to that it's like people that are in debt that are basically volunteered to get
Debtors
over.
Redemption.
Survivor Repo.
Debtors Redemption. Yes.
And also too, like I really like the game show that you presented. I think I'm also a huge fan of Running Man. So and that kind of battle royale style. My only argument against yours is it doesn't have that Survivor feel to it.
Totally.
I would have liked to see a little bit of the show into it. I know you wanted to go off in your own direction, but I wanted to see a little bit of maybe some elements of Survivor in your game show, whether it be people being in teams or stuff like that. But that's the one thing that I found that you never presented.
Martin
was a link to the game show Survivor.
Martin, to counter that, I agree with you. You're a dick, but I agree with you. Just kidding. but like, no, he went so far out that he came back around to me, which is where I'm like, because I was like, I noticed that too, but I was like, okay, but where's it going with? It's like when your teacher says, I want a book report on this, but then you're like, no, I'll do a book report on this and make it good. And then you'll go, okay, well, it wasn't this, but this is good too. So that was the only reason I was like, all right, we're good enough that I don't have to make that comment. But it is an insightful comment. It's a spin on Survivor. Survivor's gone so many different fucking ways over the years with so many different, like this would be a great Redemption Island game show where like you have to play to get back into the game. This would be a great part of like it's just not laden in the way Survivor moves, but it's got room inside of Survivor.
I like the game show. It's a great game show.
Yeah.
That's what all I wanted was maybe something that links it to the actual, Survivor.
Yeah. And to be honest, that's partially my fault because I guess I didn't read kind of the synopsis of the rules.
Nobody does.
I heard Survivor was like, I'll do this.
Well, no, I think I read reality show, so I figured we were more creating a reality show as opposed to, more of kind of like a Survivor clone. And that's my bad for not kind of adhering to a little bit more of that.
But it's
mold
also the
that
beauty in how you ended up with this, because this is better in my opinion than anything else. So fuck it, it's awesome.
Definitely better than Mike's.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I agree. Way better than mine. Mine's production.
No, I like the game show.
Mark,
it's a nice ring. I like it.
Mark, talk to me.
I don't know. I don't really have too much criticism. I think it's somewhat solid. I mean, I don't know if I'd tune in. It's sort of like a reboot of Hunger Games, sort of. It's sort of a reboot. Those shows are already about surviving. Again, it's already about surviving. You're not taking a You're not reinventing the genre. You're just massaging something that's already about surviving.
Yeah, okay. All right, fair enough. I feel
You combined
You don't think it's
Hunger Games,
you don't
which is
think it's-
about surviving, with Running Man, which is about surviving.
Did you like the I kind of
What are you saying, Mark?
like my game show host baddies.
Yeah,
as
I
a
like that.
twist.
Yeah.
I like that.
That
That
was
cool.
that was one of my favorite parts, and I
Yeah.
love the finishing moves and stuff. Yeah, they're like the big boss levels.
Yeah, like
Question.
you put Mortal Kombat finishing like fatalities. You gave them fatalities. All right. Oh,
I
Mark,
tried
Mark,
to. I
Martin,
tried
you got
to.
one more comment?
Yeah, are you going to be accepting PayPal on your show?
Fuck off.
Of course, obviously.
You got to capitalize on that internet pay.
Well, okay, guys, let's just be honest.
In-app
here.
purchases.
We can put a debit slot in the rear of every host. I mean, every host, not like men, women, dogs, whatever. You can just slide your card in the rear and take care of business. I don't know why we're still
Credit
talking.
card.
Yeah, credit. There we go. All right, so just for posterity again, Rob, your time is up. Martin, well, I know what you chose.
we
Rob,
all do because
know.
I posted it on the group chat.
We all know, and we're
But our
very.
audience doesn't.
I am more.
Is it Lord of the Rings themed?
No, it's my other love.
I need to change your bio to being like the 3 pillars of Martin are Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, and what would be the third one?
Probably comedy.
Well, no, but like for movie series, like what you know.
Oh, for
Yeah,
movies.
like what you fucking know
McDonald's.
about.
Oh, Maven Don.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Kevin Costner. Kevin Costner.
okay,
No,
so
anything Stallone.
Stallone or Costner. Anything with an old 80s action, 90s action movie.
yes,
I mean,
like those are your trunks that you pull from, and there's
Yeah.
fucking
JCVD, Kevin Costner, Stallone, Schwarzenegger, all those guys. I'm on board. Carl Weathers.
Carl
Any of the Expendables.
Yeah. The entire, Mark got it. The entire cast of the Expendables. I'm like, Jason Dolph Lundgren all day, baby.
Or an 80s movie with horses and or baseball.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's true.
So, what's you picked a female. You found the one female species to pick from this race of alien. So, what is your Survivor themed movie idea? Oh boy.
Okay, the host of my show is going to be Gardula the Hutt with C-3PO as the translator. For just a little bit of background, Gardula was a prominent member of the Hutt cartel during the Clone Wars. So during the time when Anakin was around and he was becoming a Jedi, stuff like that. So my season is going to be called, Survivor Tatooine. Welcome, everybody. So here's a little thing. So your ship has crashed on a desert planet on the way to Naboo, on a planet called Tatooine in an area called the Dune Sea. Survivors have to make their way to a small homestead similar to the Skywalker homestead. There they will find shelter, some moisture evaporators, which is their water source, rations of that portion bread that Rey has from Episode 7 of Star Wars, and one blaster pistol. And you're probably wondering, why would they need a blaster pistol? Well, what exists in the Dune Sea? Tusken Raiders, and they do tend to raid your camps if not careful. So settlers will have to defend their camp against these Tusken Raiders. Some of the themes from Survivor, like Mike brushed up on, like the immunity. So we're gonna have an immunity idol, and the immunity idol for this season is gonna be shaped like a Krayt Dragon egg, and it's gonna be hidden one in each camp. There's gonna be 2 teams, so one in each camp there's gonna be one immunity egg for each camp. Another thing that I wanted to bring too, like this is a new feature, because how Survivor has twists on each season. One of the new features that I wanted was to put a feature called the Tashi Station Power Converter. There's going to be one hidden in each camp, and whoever finds it, it allows the bearer to cast an extra vote whenever they want.
Nice.
So it doesn't even have to be for them. So it's really good for, like when there's a tie or swing votes. I think that'd be really cool. Just to it's a cool twist to the game. So you never know if you're really, really safe and who's going to have this extra vote, right? Some of the things that I also wanted to go over, I think the last thing was like just the challenges. One of the things I love about Survivor were the challenges. So in good old Star Wars kind of Tatooine theme, one thing that I liked about the Survivor was the endurance test that tests both the body and the mind. So teams are going to compete. It's called the Blue Milk Challenge. Like that what's her name? Luke Skywalker's aunt serves the blue milk in
Aunt Berlou.
So,
Aunt Berlou.
Aunt Brew, yes. Each team will take a shot of blue milk until the last person standing basically gets immunity. We're gonna have also, you know how they have one thing I liked about Survivor too is where they have like kind of that weird food challenge or the gross food challenge where they have to eat bugs and stuff like that. So the challenge here, people will have to eat those patty frogs that Jabba the Hutt eats live, which some people won't be able to do, but some people might, you know, and it's going to be a challenge of that. And you know how Survivor always has like a teamwork obstacle course kind of based kind of theme in their shows, like one of the challenges. So mine will be based on like, it's not going to be the actual one, but it's going to be based on the Sarlacc pit. And you'll have to find your way out of the pit with all the tentacles trying to be pulling down. So you're going to have to work it together as a team to kind of get someone, to get your whole team outside of the pit. And I think one of the last things that I wanted to bring up too was like, you know, there is no, when there's the last two standing, there is no voting, there is no jury. What's going to happen is you'll just be tossed in a Rancor pit and whoever doesn't get eaten wins. That is my Survivor Tatooine.
All right. Mark.
What kind of pit do you get tossed into? Not a Sarlacc pit?
That's a different challenge. The Rancor pit is the last one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The Sarlacc pit was the obstacle course kind of team-based kind of thing.
Remember, the Rancor is in Jabba's palace, right?
Ah.
That's what Luke kills, and then its owner runs in.
And then there's like the Rancor trainer.
He's probably known him since he was a little guy.
Like, what's so adorable about that and magical at the same time is even though that door fell on that Rancor, at the end when it's like it's like a crying dog. Like they humanized it at the end to give it like it was hurt. It wasn't necessarily dead, because I don't feel like, I mean, we allude that it's dead, but it's still like.
I think it's pretty much gone.
I think it's gone.
Point,
I always thought it was
like
hurt.
A huge. Great.
Yeah, no,
like it got things in the brain, didn't it? The spikes from the door.
Well, we assume it did, but you never see that because of the rating of the movie and kids, right?
Yeah.
So, but like, I just think it was always hurt because when it responds by whimpering, it gave a little like it was like the kids in the audience were like, "Oh, it's dead." It's like, "Oh, it's hurt really badly. Move on." But whatever, that's neither.
The Rancor's fucking dead, dude.
Mark, what do you think about Star Wars Land? Because I've been to it, so that sounds like where I've been.
I haven't been, so that was all me.
I think it's just a bunch of bantha shit, personally.
Well, they have banthas on Tatooine. That's the main animal of Tatooine.
Oh no,
banthas.
that was a well placed bantha.
As we clearly
That's
saw
1
on
point for you, sir.
as we clearly saw in the Mandalorian, the Tusken Raiders are just misunderstood. So I don't.
Yeah.
You're demonizing them. I mean, this just goes on to the demonization of a whole race of people. I can't agree with that.
Seriously,
It sounds like Islamophobe. It sounds like a Star Wars slanted Islamophobia.
Exactly.
sounds like they're reading nothing but the Fox News.
Are you a
Tatooine.
sandophobe?
Sandophobe. I like how I'm getting burned on a race that doesn't exist.
Again, minimizing them.
Yeah.
Even in a galaxy far, far away, you need to be inclusive.
Anything else besides his racial misappropriations, Mark?
No, I like the challenges. I'm down for I like the way that Martin really immersed his show into the entire world. That he really kind of got right in there. Big fan of that. What's it called again?
Survivor Tatooine.
Survivor Tatooine.
Yeah.
So it's actually a member of the Survivor franchise.
Yep.
Oh, who's the host again? Oh, yeah, your
the Hutt
Huttess.
and yeah.
Your Huttess.
I only put the reason why I had C-3PO as translators because like Hutts were pretty gangster. They're gangster, right? And they don't like in a world where everyone speaks the common tongue, they just don't want to bring themselves to do that. So they have the translator. Just how badass they are. Like, no, I'm not going to speak English. I'm going to I'm going to speak my Huttese language. And
how are you picking these people to be on the show?
That I didn't think of. I think people just would be in the Star. It's set in the Star Wars. Just people just apply, I guess, or try to be on it. Like audition.
Okay.
Be like, yeah, I'm gonna be on Survivor Tatooine. I just didn't think about that.
They have to be very pro Empire.
Yeah.
They're only
No
Um,
Jedis.
No Jedis.
obvious.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Now we're attacking Jedis. Like what? Who aren't we going to touch today?
Can you use the Force in any of the challenges? I mean, is there rules like this?
There's no like rules in the Force, but I mean, I would think that since it's the Empire, they wouldn't allow Force users anyways, because the Empire kept a very strict control on who could and couldn't use the Force. So they were constantly hunting people who were force sensitive.
Sounds
So,
a lot
like,
like NBC.
Oh, you on fire today, son? Fucking big guns brought to the podcast. I'm gonna go down Mark's path here too. I think with my critique is that I like it, and when I said I've been to Star Wars land, you sound like that's a compliment. Because I'm saying you're an Imagineer, Martin. Like you have a very good sense of taking it and reapplying it. Where I looked at from a technical perspective of making a show. Because I love social control and social science and experimenting on mass groups of people and harvesting data. I think that's fucking crazy shit. So that's how I looked at it as. But you created a story, like you created like that would be like a fucking theme at Disneyland to go to experience. I feel it'd be very G-rated, but that's because Star Wars is G-rated, right? Like it doesn't really stray too far in the ratings and get too dark and shit. Besides, killing. Your masters and your fathers and whatnot, and kissing your sister. But that besides the point. What I'm saying is I really like that, but I just feel the missed opportunity. Do you have for costuming and whatnot? Like, because this is taking, are you making this for us to play, or is this in the Star Wars universe?
It's in the Star Wars universe.
Okay,
There's
so
no
you took the
costuming.
show-
It's already
okay.
there. Like they're just they're like they crashed on Tatooine. Like that's the whole.
Okay,
that's
so
I'm with you here, Mike. Just so I'm picturing in my head, right? Martin creates this world for me. I picture we're on Tatooine. I picture these challenges, but I have no picture of who's doing it.
Yeah.
You didn't create that part of it for me.
and
Like, what do you? Okay.
So,
I envision it's like, they interview like some of the people in the beginning and they're like, oh, I'm a retired stormtrooper and did 4 tours on
the fucking station, bitch.
Oh, I'm a former TIE fighter pilot and
I was a Death Star technician. I knew Kylo Ren before he was anybody.
Radar tech. Matt the radar tech.
I was friends with Matt the radar tech.
Do you guys have a Kessel Run competition at all, or?
I didn't think like there's no. Well, it's not the Tatooine isn't the Kessel Run, so it would be kind of Beggars Canyon. That would be kind of the run that they would do, kind of like a speeder run with Beggars Canyon.
Are you going to measure it in actual speed, not distance?
Not in parsecs. It will not be measured. It has to be measured in parsecs. That's what the Star Wars universe is. It's got to be measured in actual distance, not speed.
Like where I don't have what you have, Martin, in regards to story creation in this and immersing somebody. I have technical aspects and who's happening to what and where and how, but you have an idea, just not happening. Like we don't know who it's happening to until after, right? But like that's what we do here. We grill each other and then we get the gold of what we meant to say. But,
well, I mean, the idea is like it's set in the Star Wars universe, so it would be people from the Star Wars universe.
Totally,
like anybody in the Star Wars universe. It could be a Mon Cala. It could be a Rhodian. It could be any alien, anything, like anyone from the Star Wars universe. Just your average Joe from the Star Wars universe. Probably people you don't normally get to see that are portrayed, like probably people that aren't portrayed in the movies.
Yeah, like the radar tech.
Yeah, Matt the radar tech would be a good example.
Exactly.
Right.
It's your average Joe, like who like people who go on reality. They're just like they're people who are just normal people who just want to that 10 seconds of fame, and I think that's the type of people who could go onto it.
Rick the Jawa.
Would you allow droids on it?
Yeah, well, one of the droids is C-3PO, right? Because he's the translator. So there will
but would you allow droids as contestants?
Oh no droids as contestants. They've got to be.
Oh no!
Oh no! Fucking droids. Just
Or
translators.
elitism.
We don't serve their kind here. Which is a quote from the movie on Tatooine.
Hey, Rob.
So, am I able to get my critique
Yes,
now?
totally.
So I as soon as you said Tatooine, I made a quick list of things that I needed you to say. First one was blue milk, check. Sarlacc pit, check. Rancor, check. But you were missing a couple for me. You were missing Jawas.
Okay.
Salacious crumb and moisture evaporator.
I did use moisture evaporator.
He
I
started
said
with
that
a
at the
moisture
very beginning.
evaporator.
Oh, you did? Okay, let me check that off. I missed that one. Sorry.
That was like when, like I said, they're gonna find shelter. They're gonna find a similar homestead to the Star Wars homestead. That's where they're gonna base camp is, and it's gonna have some moisture evaporators, which is gonna be their water source.
Okay, I missed that. I apologize. All I gotta say is awesome. I love the whole premise. I love how you tied in key things from the Star Wars movies that like encapsulated like the setting of Tatooine into this so well. And I think it's tight as fuck.
Thank you.
All right.
A big detractor for me, and Rob did it as well, is they're actually moisture vaporators, not evaporators.
Oh, have we
Yeah,
checked
I said
it?
moisture evaporators. VAPORATORS.
Okay.
Okay.
They take
Because
the
technically a
moisture in the
moisture evaporator would take water away.
No, this takes
Okay.
the moisture in the air and gets water. Is the science behind that? The Star Wars science.
I just robbed Rob.
Hey, Mark. I have three letters that are coming into my mind. One is a G, one is an F, and one is a Y.
You'll get your chance because I'm who's coming up next. So Rob's gonna get his chance.
Oh my god, I love that. I just love how you were like, okay, okay. Mark, it is now. Oh, hang on. We just for posterity, just so I get in time with this because the placement of these. I just want to talk. I don't want to produce. So, Martin, you are now finished, as the late great Alex Trebek used to use all the time. That's my favorite sound. That really is my favorite buzzer. I went through a lot of buzzers, but that's my favorite. Mark, please cap us off with. I feel we're gonna get blown out of the water here. I feel like Jack Sparrow, and I'm about to get a cannonball. The side of the black.
What are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about.
I just feel that I know what you've said, but I feel something's coming. Something's coming.
Are you alluding that his is going to be Pirates of the Caribbean? themed?
No. I was just trying to make a funny line with a bad reference. Oh boy!
All right.
Oh boy! Oh boy!
Picture, if you will, my show called Survenger.
Yes. Yeah, I'm already impressed.
It is hosted by Wanda Maximoff, the Scarlet Witch. Being that she is the most powerful mutant introduced so far in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, right from Kevin Feige's mouth. So she's going to oversee it so she can keep everything in order. Along by her side, doing some remote interviews and some behind-the-scenes stuff and demoing the challenges is going to be Vision.
Oh boy!
Obviously, promoting their upcoming series. It takes place in the Mirror Dimension, produced by the Ancient One, who creates all of the challenges. In the Mirror Dimension, it will prevent the powers from destroying anybody on Earth or hurting anything in our timeline. Some of the challenges that we're going to run across are going to be not only physical challenges, but there's going to be some mental challenges. A regular appearance is going to be certain trivia challenges hosted by Stan Lee that's brought back from his time.
Oh, fuck you!
Is he going to be in one of those Futurama like head things?
Well, either that, or we could just bend time and bring him back, and he could just come through a portal or something.
Put your
We have some
glove on.
some challenges like a no superpower challenges where they have to do everything sort of as mortals. Instead of like immunity idols hidden throughout this world, we're going to actually hide the Infinity Stones. And if you find an Infinity Stone, you can use its ability in challenges in order to win. And the prize, of course, for all of these hardworking superheroes is the ability to retire from saving the world without any guilt if you win Survenger.
Survivor Revenger.
Are you? It's fine if you're finished because I'm ready to just call it right now and give it to you. But
yeah, I'm done. That's pretty much all that I came up with. I didn't go into a lot of detail about the different challenges because it could be anything, right?
Yeah,
we can
that's
basically
fine.
bend time and twist the universe. So that's my pitch, and it's going to be debuting on Disney Plus later this year.
Can I go first?
Yeah, go ahead, Rob. You got
Yeah,
it.
you
I'll
got
go
it.
second.
I feel like this doesn't have enough longevity because there just isn't enough Avengers. So like you're putting it in a little box. So is this going to be extended beyond the Avengers? Can other MCU characters partake in this?
100%. It's banking off of the Avengers title, but it's open to all MCU.
Rob, can I just say one thing?
Actually, all of the Marvel Universe comic books.
Would you allow
etc.
Zod to cross over into this?
I don't think so.
No, but see, Mark's got this one thing at his disposal. He's got Doctor Strange and the madness of the multiverse. So this has got legs because of one simple character who can create multiple universes at any given time. So they could eventually just do one show in multiple universes and never have to write another script, and that would be low production cost.
Kind of like what if.
Yes, it could actually have every single challenge could have an infinite number of outcomes. And you can just on each rerun of the show, it'll just have different outcomes.
Yeah. So now, Mark, you should vote for me because I helped you.
No, don't.
Okay, that was my only question.
Martin, you go next.
Yeah, I really like the show. The idea is great. I liked how you brought in the Infinity Stones to use, I thought that was really cool. I liked how I'm a huge fan of the MCU, so I like that you picked the MCU for an Avengers themed Survivor. I think that'd be really cool to watch. If they did that would be a cool like side thing they could really do. My only thing was I just wanted a bit more detail in your plan. I think that's the only thing that's missing in your argument is the details.
You're right. I was actually going to be considering it's going to start off as no teams, but inevitably they're going to break up into squads, sort of like Civil War. You know, there's always inevitably somebody's going to take sides, and those are going to form over time. Seasons as we run down, right? Because it's only one winner. We're gonna allow people to return to try to earn that prize later on down the line. I guess I should have been more specific.
What happens if you run so many seasons though that you run out of Avengers to further save the world?
Yeah, but
that's
because everyone's retired.
I never really considered that.
That's a good point.
How many characters are in the Marvel universe?
Well, how many? But again, my argument for someone else is the multiverse, which is why I love this so much. Is that even though, like, I think this is fucking awesome. Yes, Martin's got a point about the detail thing, but the infinite number of ways with a multiverse and how you've got all this potential, because essentially speaking, we've never really considered it. I guess we always just thought present your idea and don't let the person rebuttal and maybe reconvince you, because I'm being more convinced as we're talking about this than just letting Mark's point, my point, Rob's point, Martin's point hit the floor and then be like, well, that's it, move on. No, we should rebuttal this. We should converse it out for a couple minutes here and figure it out. So I like how this is kind of turning things out, but I love Survengers. I love when you fucking do dumb name shit. Like, I wish I sit here and I'm like, I don't want to message him and be like, can you help? But I'm like, there's so many times where I'm like trying to make something clever like that, and then it all falls in from there because it is interesting. It's heroic. They're fun to watch. They're addictive to watch. The whole family can watch it. It's got utility for days. It's themed. It's Disney. If Disney's going to be producing it, obviously they didn't sell it, so it would be great. Like, but yeah, the simplicity of it is the only whatever thing, but that's whatever. That's neither here nor there.
Part of my original, I was like Rob. I wasn't clear on that it had to be like really Survivor. I thought it was going to be a reality show.
Whose fault is
and
that?
My original one, and I just kind of twisted it when I had heard that into more of a Survivor theme. But I mean, all the challenges are still going to be the same. But mine was going to be more of a Big Brother-esque show where they were all going to be forced to live in a place together, and we'd get those behind the scenes daily squabbles between superheroes. I think that would be great TV.
I mean, you would still get that with the Survivor theme show anyway, though.
Yeah, I just like the Big Brother because they're in such tight quarters that they all argue all the time. And the head of household would be interesting. And
oh yeah, because they'd have history with each other prior to going in, like
Hulk smash.
And you could do like a villains versus heroes episodes.
That'd be a season.
Yeah.
All right. Well, okay. I'm convinced.
Loki would get bitch.
They wouldn't even give Loki a chance. He'd be the first one off the show.
I was
like, no, Loki, we're gone.
None of us really stepped out of bounds with our arguments too much, so I didn't get to use this sound effect, which I'm really bummed about. But just before I do that, we'll end Mark's time so everybody knows. All right, so the floor is closed. We've all presented our arguments. Here's the sound effect I never got to use because we all made some seriously valid points. Good old Billy Bob from Bad Santa never got to see the light of day today, but that's okay. Maybe we'll find Billy Bob another day.
I've actually never seen
Neither
that
have
movie.
I've seen the Matrix.
good.
I've clipped it, but I've
Is it?
never watched it. So to everybody who's new, if this is your first episode of 2021 with us, or you've been, probably that's the only reason you're tuning in because you found us. We all are a democratic society here where we vote for each other and not ourselves. So at this point, gentlemen, open up your chat groups so that we can be ready with our choices, and just hit the and just with the name of the person, so that I don't get all jumbled and have to think, because it's me and I've been smoking. So I am ready here. Martin, are you ready over there? Rob, are you ready over there? Mark, you're ready over there. So that would mean everybody's ready. So let's do a little build up here and hit it. Oh my goodness, we have a fucking tie.
Oh, two-way tie.
Okay, so how do we do this? I was thinking on.
Then I win.
Yeah, you obviously. Yeah, no, definitely. We can, gentlemen, we can do one of two things here, depending on time, and time is the most important thing. So, you two can have a summarization of everything. Now that we've heard everything, and there's things that were not included because of confusion and whatnot, which I love. That's always how this works out.
We should create a new thing where you call another person that's on the debater show, and you quickly explain to them, and then they make a quick decision over the phone.
Let me see.
We did that in the past, though. We used to do that.
We have done that before. We could bring that back. Like, we've never really figured out how to create a tiebreaker. Mark, what are your thoughts on this, considering you're involved in it?
I always liked the call a
Call a
neutral
friend.
party kind of thing,
Okay.
and each person gets 20 seconds to quickly give a synopsis, their elevator pitch of their story.
Okay, I like
Totally.
that. Let me see if I can get Doug Darling to pick up. Would Doug be fun to sit in on this? Should we call Ben? Who should we call? Like, we all know these people. Who's the fun one to see if we could get on the phone here?
Do we not have anybody available that's like Jimmy or?
You know what? Let me see if I can get Jimmy to pick the phone up. Yeah. Oh, because you guys said show. Sorry, I'm high. Yeah. All right. So call somebody from the show. So, all right. I have the cord. I just don't have it plugged in. So you're gonna have to.
I feel as though you should call Chrissy.
You feel I should call? Okay.
I feel like she would be an incredibly impartial party.
See, hang on. You're anchoring into some dark shit there, buddy. Why can't I work my fucking phone right now? All right.
I have an idea why.
Yeah, I do too. I made light of it earlier in the show.
Fuck you.
Might be that touch of a sativa, but it makes my head clear, but not my body high.
You're not sharp, but you're not dull either.
I'll take your heart out with a spoon.
All right. So I'm calling Jimmy here. Hopefully it picks up. You guys hear that?
Yep.
All right. I should have this ready next time. Jimmy.
Hey, Mike, what's up?
You are on air with Mark, Rob, Martin, and myself.
Oh, God, what do they want?
This is why this was a way better idea. Okay, Jimmy. We just finished, and we have a tie between Martin and Mark. And we argued if you could change the theme of Survivor to any movie, what would be your theme using female characters? And we've got a tie between Martin and Mark. Mark picked Survengers, a Avengers-themed Survivor. And Martin, I don't even know how to pronounce the name, so you tell Jimmy.
Ardula the Hutt.
Okay. And I don't know.
Survivor Tatooine.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard that or not, but it was Ardula the Hutt Survivor Tatooine. So the female Hutt from Star Wars, it's a themed around her. We just need you to do what you've been on the show and had to put up with before, which is break the fucking tie. So, I don't know how to let you hear them, but I'll tell you what their arguments are, and then you can pick. Or just pick clean right now. What do you want to do?
Well, I just, you know what, I hate the Avengers movies so much that I'm just gonna have to pick Star Wars on a whim here.
Mark's rolling his eyes at you. Thank you. I will.
You fucking nerf herder.
Scruffy? He's not scruffy,
He just
Loki.
called you a fucking nerf herder. So, thank you for picking the phone up for whatever you're doing, because it's 2021. How dare people fucking call each other?
That's great. I almost didn't answer.
Because you knew. I bet you're like, I bet you this is what that fucking call is. All right, dude. I will let you go, and then we'll make sure Mark and you can debate this one out on the next one together.
Right on. Happy to help. Later,
All right.
guys.
Later, dude. All right, there you have it. Martin, you won just because he hates shit.
That sounds like a Jimmy Skinner thing.
I think if we'd gone anywhere.
What an objective person to call.
Yeah, no kidding. I know if we'd called Chrissy, I know what would have happened, but Jimmy is the show, so it.
You know what though? If you'd called Jason
Yeah.
Fallman, he would have said the same thing. He would have been, I fucking hate superheroes. Star Wars.
That's very true. So congratulations, Mark, for winning the first one.
He would have voted for Harry Potter without even listening to anything else.
What is Harry Potter? That wasn't an option, sir.
Wingardium Leviosa.
I'd like to do a write-in vote for Harry Potter, please.
Yeah. Oh shit. So, Mark,
Survivor Hermione, where the winner gets to date her.
Mark, I need you to do one thing for me. I need you to
What's
put
that?
into your phone the date and the fact that you won, so I can go back. So put it in your notepad. Put down a win for yourself, because I'll put down a win too. But if I forget to do this, then this is in somebody else's
You
phone.
mean Martin? You mean Martin?
You're
right?
meening me, not Mark.
Sorry, Mark.
I
yeah,
picked
sorry,
Star
Mark.
Wars,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, you picked Star
How
Wars.
much meat did you smoke?
Generous.
Oh,
All
no,
of it.
Survivor Tatooine was me.
Yes.
It's pronounced Tatooine.
No, it's honestly because I wanted.
Tatooine.
It's because I wanted Mark to win.
Tatooine.
No,
You can kiss my ass.
You can kiss my evaporator.
My moisture evaporator.
All right. Well, it is that time of the show where we should kind of cool things down and go our separate ways. And I just wanted to decompress with going around the room. Like, what's the one you hate watching, and what's the one you really do like genuinely like to watch for reality show? Doesn't matter what kind of show it is. Let's start with Mark.
I've been a reality show fan. The competition style reality shows from way back in the day, like when the first Survivor came out, and I watched probably religiously the first 10 or 15 seasons or whatever it was. And that was back in the day of reality shows being more competitive. Like, obviously I watch reality TV now where it's like cooking shows, competitive cooking stuff. But I loved the real, the ones where you get immersed into the shows. And so my favorite, and I don't know if many of you guys have seen this, it was only 2 seasons, called The Mole.
Oh, I remember that.
I heard about
And
it.
where there was actually a mole amongst them, and people had to try to figure out, like, he could sabotage challenges, group challenges and things, and they traveled all over the world. It was really good. I think it was hosted by like Anderson Cooper or something.
That sounds familiar.
But yeah, it only did a couple seasons, but it was awesome. And my least favorite, I don't know. That's tough.
like,
I kind of like them all. I even watched this cheesy one called The Circle that was on Netflix,
okay,
where
but you
everybody couldn't see each other and they had to win by becoming the most popular person on social media within the group. So
Sorry, Mark. I was thinking my mind went a different way with that. I thought it was gonna be the circle jerk. I was like, oh, because no one can see each other, but they have to be in a circle, and they have to. I was like,
where's the toast?
that would
There's
be
a
my.
giant cookie.
Piece of
Or a
rye.
piece of-
Anyways, I just love them all. I'll pretty much watch any reality-based show just because I like the human condition.
Okay, so, but do you? Okay, there's slumming it in reality television, and then there's like reality television, and then there's like unique reality television, and you watch you're not like your reality and above, because you watch the cooking show one, so you kind of have to be really interested in cooking, or like something that's really relaxing I find either.
Yeah, but we also watch like the Real Housewives of Atlanta.
Okay, that's where my next question was. Do you slum
So
it too?
we have guilty, like Chrissy's. We have every series of Real Housewives tape.
Okay, all right.
Including like Vanderpump
Like on
Vanderpump Rules.
Yeah.
Like on VHS?
Yes, on VHS. Yeah. So I'm literally like guilty pleasures or any reality show where it's virtually unscripted.
Okay.
Because we like to see the drama, and I'm a kind of a people watching nut. I like the sociology of how people interact. So you put them in any situation and show me how people actually react, and I'm interested in it.
Totally. No, I couldn't agree with you more. I try to slum it around here from time to time because it is fun to like. I mean, they are people. They're just people with less personality points than others, right? They're very one-dimensional. They're very focused on the rows. For if anyone knows what the fuck I'm talking about. But I'm like you. I love the cooking shows. So like Iron Chef. I love a point. I love a challenge. I just like the unscripted, scripted reality where things are just happening. But like if you're supposed to make, duck l'orange in 10 minutes when it normally takes 45 and you've got to, that's watching the human condition adapt and problem solve. Survivor, same thing. So if there's a point to it, like the one I really liked recently was on Prime, World's Most Dangerous Race, when they did the Eco Challenge.
Yeah.
And you got to see that for the firsthand, seeing that, it's like, okay, yeah, it's really crazy, but you can also complete it with a broken leg if you're willing to not tap out. So
you want a really bad one that I actually watched most of? Anybody else watch I Want to Marry Harry?
No.
It was Prince Harry clone they were trying to do a faux spin-off where they were trying to get these women on it, kind of a dating show, thinking that they were going to date Prince Harry, but it was just like a pseudo clone of him, but they were also dumb that they didn't know it was a clone.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
It was pretty good.
Yeah, and those are fun to watch, but then I'm like, oh man, these people are totally being taken advantage. Like there's that thin line when it starts to take advantage of somebody, and I'm like, that's like, I mean, it's funny, but after a while you're like, this is just like on repeat, it's mean. You're like, oh.
It's kind of like that show Joe Schmo. Remember where
exactly.
Everyone else was an actor except for him.
And they were fucking with him. Yeah, that's the game. That's Michael Douglas the game, basically, just in reverse. Martin, what about you? What are some of your?
For mine, favorites that I like to watch. I used to be into Survivor, but I stopped. But like right now, I think my favorites are just like shows like Gold Rush or Deadliest Catch, just seeing how people make a living in a different job than mine, because I have a desk job, right? So seeing how people make a living, fishing for crabs in the sea is a really cool show that I like to watch. But least favorite, I would have to say I've never been a fan of Big Brother. I couldn't get into it. I think the only thing that I did like about Big Brother is it gave us this really cool zombie movie where contestants were stuck in the Big Brother house while the zombie apocalypse came down. So it's about them dealing with the zombie apocalypse in the Big Brother house. That was the only thing I like about Big Brother.
Any least favorites that you were like, bleh, how the fuck did they?
That was it, Big Brother.
It's Big Brother. Okay,
Big Brother.
all right.
Big Brother.
No, I get it. Rob, let's close this out here.
I also don't like Big Brother. I don't get it. It just seems just like let's cast 8 people that we know their personalities are not going to mesh and just throw them in I don't know. It just doesn't interest me. It just seems like I get the allure for some people, but for me, it's just not there. I always end up like with a partner that loves The Bachelor and The Bachelorette. I kind of like, I love to hate them, but they're not my favorite either. My favorite is The Curse of Oak Island.
Sure.
I fucking love it.
I love it too.
Fuck, even though they don't find fucking anything, I'm so holding out that they do, because when I was a kid, I read a book about that, and I just had this allure about it for since I was a little kid. And the other one that I really like is Amazing Race. The first 5 or 6 seasons was so good.
It is.
Them trying to get at the front of the front, on the plane in the front seat so they can run out and get ahead. And I don't know. I always thought that show was cool, and they're not allowed to have cell phones. They don't have maps and all that kind of stuff. Cool premise, man.
No, both of those, like, yeah.
But it ain't no Curse of Oak Island.
Did you start watching Curse of Skinwalker Ranch? The kind of the takeoff.
I saw the preview for it, but yeah, that's a rabbit hole, man.
That made me think. You're talking about those. I just got to interject this for a weird, bizarre one. Who else has watched Forge and Fire?
I like that. The blacksmith show.
I've seen a couple times.
Yeah.
Like we're obsessed with it, and they're just dudes making knives. Why do I love it so much?
Yeah, no.
Well, I like when they have to take their weapon too, and they've got to like cut through different types of meat and stuff. And like,
Dude, the bone challenge is a dope one. The bone test.
Okay.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
for we have Stack. I don't know. Does anybody else have the Stack app through Prime? No. Okay, so we cut cable, but Stack has got History, Food Network.
you can add it to your Prime for like $10 a month.
So you're essentially like, if you really want to cut cable but still have some of your favorite like premium cable packages, they're out there. But so because of History, they've got Alone to like all the survival challenges.
Ancient Aliens
is on there too, but
Naked and Afraid.
Exactly. All of the History Channel classics are on there, but they've got one for people who, it's like a 6-part series, and it was Alone the Beast, and it was 3 people who had to find the animal that was a fresh kill. So there was a fresh bear, a fresh elk, a fresh moose, a fresh alligator, and they had to butcher it, bone it, save it, and reuse it, all with natural tools.
Is one of the contestants a Cajun guy? Because that'd be awesome.
There's always a Cajun guy. There's never not a Cajun guy. Cajun guys are like lining up.
Oh, we gotta get them some of your gear.
So if you're interested in watching like it, and they say like this was a local kill. It was done by the indigenous people on the land, in with their rights and traditions and cultures. And then these 3 contestants show up, and it's like, hey, take this moose down with stone tools and see how it's done.
Mike, how amazing was that one with the gator where they were cutting it with like the reeds?
Yeah. They used like Florida reeds, and they put them together, and you get a edge out of it, much like the one I'm made out of with my spoon side. And you slowly pull this thing, and it's like in between the fucking dinosaur scales, where they're like going up and down in there, and eventually they opened up this alligator. And you got to get the meat done because it starts to spoil within like 3 hours in the heat. So like those shows also too. Like I realized after this episode, I watch more reality television than I actually want to fully admit. But I don't think we all watch a little bit of shit, but we watch some pretty good shit too. I think we can agree across the board on that. It is approaching that time, gentlemen. This has been a great way to start the year. I love the TV talk. Do we all love the TV talk? That we don't have any fucking restrictions and we can just talk about whatever the fuck we want because there's good shit to watch.
You see, though, for the most part, Mike, is that we talked about stuff on streaming services.
Yeah.
Like people didn't go to network TV too much.
No, exactly. And I mean, what does that say, guys? If you want,
I don't have cable, so
yeah,
I can't comment on that.
But like,
I don't have cable anymore.
But the cable.
I'm just saying, you heard it here. Like whatever happens on the Real Debaters is true. So
Clearly.
yeah, clearly we're like the Simpsons in that regard. We're predicting the future.
It's like the internet.
Yeah.
Interwebs.
Anyways, thank you for tuning into another Real Debaters production, ladies and gentlemen. We'll make it easy. Follow the show. Follow all of us. Follow everything about us at thereeldebaters.ca. That's the blog. That is the merch store. That is the host page. If you go there and you're like, hey, I think Martin should have this about him, let me know. I'll change it. We can not tell Martin about it. Whenever you want to email the show, thereeldebaters@gmail.com. At Reel Debaters on Instagram and Twitter. That's REEL for all the spelling. We're still working on YouTube stuff. It's fun. Martin versus Mark the other night. If you're local and you want to come on the show and you want to try out a little one-on-one YouTube situation with us, it's fun. We'll let you know when we're better at it, so we know what the fuck.
Even if you're not local, we just do it over Zoom.
Yeah, no, totally.
Exactly.
You're right. I got to get out of this fucking Zoom mentality thing. I mean, I just want to get back to us, but us will be there eventually. We got to get through this shit first. So, yeah, there's nothing else. So let's start out in the West. Who's it been out in Vancouver?
I've been your first winner of 2021, Jimmy Skinner.
Wolseley, who's over there?
Martin Navarro, really?
No.
But yeah. Is that what you
Rob,
asked? I
you're
don't
the
know.
worst at this game. Wolseley, say goodbye. What? I think Rob has muted us. Rob has definitely muted us.
Oh, I'm Jimmy Skinner, and I hate Scream.
You're the fucking worst. This is so much easier in person. We got to change this fucking ending. Anyways, East Kildonan, who's over there?
I live in North Kildonan,
Oh,
and
see.
I'm Jimmy Skinner, and I love the Avengers. and horror movies suck.
And I've been your host, Jimmy.
I'm Mark Cowell.
Yeah.
Let's be serious.
I'm the real. I will stand up. Will the real Jimmy Skinner please stand up? It is me, ladies and gentlemen, Jimmy SS Skinner. That'd be the great name for a boat. I think that's the name of the boat in the painting in my living room, actually.
I've thrown a challenge flag on this competition.
AKA also Micheal Petrow. Thank you for tuning in. Watch all the movies, ladies and gentlemen. Subscribe to the podcast. Subscribe. We will see you in a week.